Hello, and welcome to the circus. We have friends and cats, and what more could we ask for? Frey Purpose is like, I've been waiting for 15 minutes since I heard the camera click. Will you just give me my snackies now, please?
Oh, excuse me. Cats are funny that way.
I know. I keep trying to figure out the right place for the camera to not be so backlit, but there's a giant window behind me, and I can't do anything about that.
Do you know I have that constant struggle with lighting? Constant struggle with lighting, so I completely understand.
I know.
I actually had that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I had that issue earlier because I didn't realize the massive undertaking of showing off all my stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was Gen X Zoisa or someone made a comment like you should do a fashion show. I think I brought like 6 or 7 pieces and it took forever to film. But then when I went in the gym, because we've had such severe weather, the light, I don't know if water seeped in and one of the lights shorted out, but the lighting was off. Way off.
That is no fun. I know. I keep thinking for like weeks and weeks now I need to do a lookbook just because I need to put my clothes away, and B, I don't know what goes together, and I don't know what I have and what I want to add to my collection except for more corsets. And
I think I'm in a weird spring cleaning phase too right now because I hoard clothes, but I also I'm one of those people. I'm like, okay, people could actually be wearing this. Right. So I'm going to give this away, so every year I go through my hoarding and slowly dwindle down. I feel like I have my own Goodwill in my middle, like my closet is a Goodwill.
Yeah.
I just have stacks and stacks of shirts and clothes. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Right, there is too much. You're like, how much do I actually need? What am I keeping for sentimental reasons? And
totally, I have like mini interventions with myself where I'm like, hey William, let's go sit on the couch, let's have a talk. Especially like with the weather. Recently, yesterday I went and donated all the sweatshirts I don't wear.
Yeah.
And I gave away probably 30 and I still have 25.
Whoa.
I'm crazy. I'm a clothes. I hoard clothes, but like I have this undershirt obsession because I'm always wearing vests,
Right.
So I'm always buying a flannel or making a shirt. But then I went through this weird sweatshirt phase and realized like I only have one skull.
Right. And so many days in a year and occasions.
I grew up like my parents were old school, like depressed. Like their parents were Depression era, so my parents were minimalists.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't, but like, so I'm not trying to get back to that, but like, I'm trying to cut down my
in the middle.
It's television has ruined me because of shows like Hoarders.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a good like scared straight tactic for me, except I can't watch when they've got like animals and pets. That like breaks I can't do those ones.
Hey Liz, I was wondering where you were. I hope you're doing well.
I heard you had 11 inches of snow the other day. I hope you don't. It's slightly better now.
Do you know what's so funny? I was like taking shots of snow on the mountains because it did not. It came close. It snowed up at the ranch, but it didn't snow at my house.
Yeah. We have the same problem here. Like we live sometimes just under the snow line. Like if you go up 300 feet even, they have more snow than I do in the valley.
Exactly. And I feel like it's weird. Topography is strange because I felt like I sat at a higher place in this town, but I guess I didn't because I'm at the bottom of a mountain. But I guess I don't know. Topography is so strange.
It is. It can also depend, since I'm at the bottom of the valley, the way the weather moves across. You get the moisture from the ocean. It dumps on the one side of the mountains, is dry up until like just past my house, or where we are, and then it starts to snow on the other side of the mountains. We're like in the weird part of the valley. Oh no, you're walking to work with no transportation? Oh, stay safe, stay warm. Lots of snow.
Oh, you're walking. I didn't read that part. Be careful. You know what? I saw the snow from far away, and like nobody wanted to go with me because everybody is so jaded. I'm like, let's go to the snow, and they're like, you're the only one that has a truck. The road's closed. You're gonna have to go around the service road. I'm like, but I know the sheriff. He knows my truck. They closed all the roads going north.
I know they closed the 5 from Reading to some exits, I know.
Oh, wow. See, that's crazy. I've always wondered about that because to me, I call that like the pass. Like
yeah, it was at Siskiyou Summit, and well, if it was closed from Reading, it was way south of that. 3rd day with no transportation. Oh my god, that is terrible.
Where's my pork pie? If it makes you feel any better, I made a semi-decent pork pie, Liz.
That turned out pretty good.
But I used pleather. I used pleather for the bill, but I need to find something more firm. But Hobby Lobby was closed because it's Sunday.
You should get some millinery buckram or horsetail tarlatan. You'll have to order it online, but
I think I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna do it. I think you'll be disappointed until you like get the right materials.
I agree, and I don't want to like shortcut it too much because I'm spoiled because I can run out and get more material, or I already have it here.
Yeah,
but I like using what I have. But I don't I don't because I started out like my entire thing was recycle, reusing, reducing, you know, and I do that really well at my job. Not so much in my real life.
It works until a point, but there's certain specialized things where you do need specialized materials to get like the actual right product, I think. Unless maybe you could, it might be too firm, but old plastic like cross-stitch canvas stuff.
Ooh. See, the problem, some of it, like any of that I would have laying around is my age.
Well, it's going to be on the inside. Nobody's going to see it.
No, but that stuff cracks really like.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Because I have a lot of really old stuff and I try to use it and it's like, I'm 50 years old. Why are you using me?
Right.
Like, I'm scared to use this quilt binding from 1983. Because I don't know if it'll be the best ever or if my machine's just going to rip right through it, you know?
Well, yeah, cut a sample and see. I did get some snow, Liz. It snowed. We had an inch accumulation this morning. It melted, then it hailed a little while ago. I've got snow on the menu for the next foreseeable future, which is very odd for where I live this time of the year.
You know, I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but Punxsutawney Phil was right this year. That groundhog was not joking.
No.
I always thought that was BS, but like every good tradition, it starts with like whiskey. Like every good tradition starts with a barrel of whiskey and like, hey.
What if this happens? Well, at least we can keep you entertained while you walk, Liz. I hope. I'll try to be funny.
I made I made another pair of overalls because I'm obsessed with overalls, and I made a trench coat to go along with my pork pie. I have this weird thing where I love buying like wannabe fake Louis Vuitton print or like wannabe Versace print because I like showing I can make something that like this coat, like the coat I made, I saw it online for $3,000. I don't know how much it cost, like maybe $20, you know, if you add the gas. But because I talk so much to the people that I like. You know, I'm at the fabric store. Shocker, I'm a talker. You know,
I never would have could have fooled me.
but the lady at Hobby Lobby, I think she cut the like. Basically, I always ask for 4 yards of this and 5 of this, and I think she inverted it. So I think I have 5 yards of the bamboo print, and I don't know what to do with it.
We'll figure it out. I know I thought I was going to be sewing sequins, but I pinned together the bottoms minus one seam just to know where I don't need to put sequins, and I can't find it. Like, okay, so I guess we're not doing that. I have this polka dotted top that Brunhilde needs some attention to. And I started a new course that, even though I've got to finish sewing the boning channels for my half boned full length stays. But
so basically anything short of like flexible interfacing is just me disappointing myself, you think, huh?
I think so.
Because pleather didn't. I thought pleather could hold up, but pleather, it's stiff but floppy right at the same time.
Yeah, no, well, I take that. Yes, you're going to need something, whether it's like the stiff machine embroidery interfacing.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
That could be a more accessible option rather than the buckram or tarlatan.
I'm going to have to look. I have so much. I have like this behind this computer is where fabric goes to die.
And maybe one of these streams we'll have to do an intervention and you'll have to show us all that you have and start thinking about plans. Hey, hands!
There's some saffron rice in there. You should definitely go. It's
okay, Liz. I didn't have to go anywhere, so I like looking at the snow. I'm just sad that it left too quickly because, yeah.
I could turn my camera around. It is I have so much crud in this room. Like this is a sad homage to hoarding in this room. It's
well, as long as it's just one room, but it's probably not.
Oh, I actually have a rule. Like my kid has the right to grow up in an actual house.
I think that's fair. Good self moderation.
I keep my insanity literally down to 2 rooms, and the rest of the house is his.
Good.
Like he has free reign of the house to the point where I go sit in the living room and like the cable box is foreign to me because he has put, he's keyed it to all his things, You're
like, just put the King station on, please, kid.
We're losing badly to the New York Rangers right now, if anyone wants to know.
Go New York.
During this time, like hockey, sports in general are predictable because, and it has to be because, every team has to play each other at least once a year.
Yeah.
And so this is our East Coast swing. And so all the games are on at 3 or 4 in the afternoon when normally they're on at 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, I'm sure it is a winter adventure because nobody knows how to drive in the snow around here. They think they do, but they don't.
Do you know, I always wondered about that. So in LA, I want to say 35% of the people that move here come from cold weather cities. Nobody can drive in the rain. They act like they've never seen rain before. Living in Portland made me a grizzled veteran to driving in the rain.
Yeah.
So now I like judge people like, you can't drive in the rain. What is wrong with you? But it's scary. And that's another thing. I'm driving today and I recently replaced my left blinker, and guess what's going out? My right blinker. And the only reason I know that is because, like, I've never really owned a modern car, and I have a Ford Flex.
Yep.
And I was driving it because my truck is a gas guzzler, and it's just easier to get my stuff in and out of the Flex, when I'm as far as like filming and stuff. But the blinker speeds up to let you know it's not working.
Oh, that's nice because you like my car, unless somebody tells me or I'm outside,
Exactly.
there's no way of knowing.
Same with my truck. Unless I have a padiddle, I'll never know. Unless someone's like,
Right.
"Hey, dude, your light's out," you know.
Though I have learned because I usually just use the daytime running lights on mine because it's new enough that once one goes out, then the second one's going to go out pretty soon afterwards.
I don't know why I didn't replace both. I don't know. I like had that moment in the car of like, why didn't I just replace both?
Thinking it was going to save time, but really it's just going to add it up on the other end.
I've learned like there's a fine line between being a cheapo and saving money and putting your life at risk.
Right, fair.
There's a fine line. I have this conversation with Isaiah all the time because I'm not label driven, and I grew up eating Malta meal.
Yep.
So I don't judge anything. I'll eat, and I tell my son, like, the first time I had real cornflakes, I was like, these don't taste right. Because I grew up on the generic brand.
Yeah.
And like he's bougie because he grew up with me, and I'm like, I'll get whatever you want. But he thinks just because it's a brand name, it's better than everything else. And I try to explain to him like that's not always the case.
Right.
Sometimes
a lot of times they're made in the same factory with just different labels.
Oh my gosh. My Husqvarna Viking, my Baby Lock, and one of my Japanese Kenmore sewing machines all take the same plug, have the same body. You know? That's why it makes me laugh. Like, and in America, if you buy any product that's like anything that has to do with heating or cooling, air conditioning, they literally all come from the Honeywell factory. No matter what the face, no matter what it says on the face, it was made in the Honeywell factory.
Oh, Liz, I'm glad you're getting some good pictures, though. Yay, I know, at least it's pretty when it's white and not yellow. Don't eat the yellow snow, kids.
Man, it's been a long time since I've heard that. Do you know, my pork pie ended up looking like Paddington Bear or like that wino asking you for $1. I still like it, or it's giving me Jamiroquai because I have such a large head.
Yeah.
I was trying not to go Jamiroquai, but it's giving me I think I you know what's really funny? Like I fall down these sewing rabbit holes, and I feel like I'm about to fall into a top hat rabbit hole.
Well, you need one for your trench cloak. Like you either need the like weird bowler
Heck yeah.
English style of the Ushanka.
I am weirdly an Anglophile, more than the fact that my parents took me there when I was a kid. It's that I watched their television.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely need a bowler to the point where I was disappointed when everyone wasn't wearing one when I went there. But it was like 1989, 1990. It was like literally a different era.
It was.
And back then they were trying to like, you know, I only know from like certain from my standpoint, and like in the African American community, like in England, they were wearing American baseball jerseys. They were dressing like TLC. They like, I go back and watch their television from the 90s, and I'm like, dude, they're wearing sports that aren't even that don't even go on in their country.
Right. Well, so many folks, wasn't there that time in the, I don't know when, back in the, before we were here, where all the folks from Jamaica were getting super good deals to move there.
The Windrush generation after World War II, England basically emptied all their commonwealths and were like, "Hey, we need help," because they'd lost an entire generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, people from the West Indies, because it was their colonies, you know, they didn't necessarily need a passport because they were subjects of the British Empire, and so they moved to the UK. And so there's a heavy bohemian influence in the UK.
Why would you go to England where it's cold when you could have had warm weather and nicer beaches?
They talk about it all the time. In this show I watch, they're like, all the time they say, why did we move? Because, like bohemians don't wear clothes.
Right.
They're wearing board shorts and a pair of flip-flops, and they're all wearing the whole pork pie idea came from a character named Pork Pie, and like he never takes his hat off because he's cold all the time. Because he's from the West Indies,
Right. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That would have not been my choice, but
I used to chase jobs, and I love Jamiroquai. Liz, I'm not the hat trips me out, but I love Jamiroquai. I've chased jobs before. I moved to Northern California with my ex-wife because I was getting paid $45 an hour to make breadsticks. Like I've chased jobs before. I get it.
yeah.
I don't know if I would. I worked a job in Texas, literally making the casings for Chinook helicopters.
Woo.
It was just machine work. It was not. It was literally doing this, pulling a lever all day. Just pressing molds, basically. But I get it. But I don't know. Could you move to like Siberia if they paid you a lot of money? Or like somewhere extremely cold, like the Arctic or something,
I don't know. Can we make it Moscow and split the difference, or St. Petersburg? Like, Russia's my family's Russian, so I would like to go there, but I also know it's not freaking cold all the time there, just most of the time.
That's like when I went to Vancouver, Canada, and I was like, this has the same weather as Seattle.
Yeah.
like I picture Moscow being just a cold weather city like anywhere else. Like I went to Chicago. I had never experienced the wind when it's like 10 below, and then the wind makes it feel like it's 30 below.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't survive. I've told you a million times.
I did it. I lived in New York for 25 years, so it's not like I can't do it. I just preferred not to have to do it.
Is seasonal depression a real thing?
Yes.
And I'm not saying that from like the boohoo standpoint, but like where I live, it's perpetual sunshine. And so even if I'm having a bad day, I can go outside and sit in the sun, even if it's cold outside,
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, in Seattle, it is. Sometimes it's just so gray and overcast for so many days on end. Like, it's just not pleasant.
When I lived in Phoenix, though, I saw just as many depressed people. And I looked up certain rates of people that don't like themselves. And there's the same amount in up north that there was in Arizona. And I always thought that was weird. Or just in desert cities. But I could see how living in the desert is hopeless, like out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because I lived in Mesa, Arizona, and like on the border of Chandler, Arizona before it built up. And we would get in the car and drive for miles, and it was endless. We could just head south or east, and you could just go out in the middle of nowhere, But, I was more of an explorer. But it just trips me out. Are people more testy this time of year where you live? Are they more sad, or is it like?
Well, normally by this time of the year, like the beginning of February, typically it's spring and there's like flowers and the fruit trees are usually getting to start to bloom in the next week or so. This year's not like typical years. So I don't know. Testy. I don't know. I don't interact with the world except for in my professional capacity, in which case it's not a good litmus test for reality.
Same. One of the reasons I ask is because like I pulled out my keyboard, and my friend, my ex-wife's husband, walks in and he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "You pull your keyboard about every 7 months. Are you okay?" He's like, "Are you depressed?" And I said, "No." He's like, "Is it seasonal depression?" I was like, "Do we get seasonal depression in California?" I guess you can. I'm not saying that like we're excluded from it,
Right. No, but I don't think it helps. I mean, it's less hours of daylight. At least we're in the north, you know, depending on how far north of the equator you are. And with it being cold, I don't think people like go out and exercise or do all the right things because it's like cold and they just like think that they can get away with hibernating and packing on the pounds, which causes inflammatory issues that leads you to more like it's just this never ending cycle. Or
I can see that. I can totally see that.
if you get cold and have chronic pain because it's cold, then you're not moving and then you hurt more because you're not it's just so many yarn snarls upon yarn snarls.
Maybe I just want to revise my synth pop career for the 75th time.
Yes.
I love playing music. I don't care if you play it badly. And plus I encourage my son to play the piano. Like I want him to learn as many skills as possible.
Me too, Liz.
Just, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just, Liz is excited for spring.
I'm not saying that seasonal depression isn't real. It's just, it's one of those things where I try to keep myself busy. And because I'm always so busy, I have to sit down and schedule depression. Like, all right, I'll be depressed in 3 months when I have time to sit around and feel sorry for myself.
Well, then that sounds more like malaise and ennui. Like, I don't know if you've never had real depression. Like, it's.
Oh, I have. I just like, you know what it is? If I see a trigger or something that's going to send me in a spiral or a cycle, I try to stop it before it. Like, I've been down that road. I won't go. If I've been burnt, I won't go down that road. Like I was told to take certain things out of my diet and I did, and it changed my life. It really cut down on certain things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I should really cut down on the caffeine, but baby steps.
Right, exactly. You can only deal with one vice at a time. And
I quit drinking coffee for a week. And on the 6th or 7th day, a friend of mine was like, drink a cup of coffee. You're killing me.
You were not nice.
I don't even notice it after a while, but you know what it is? It's because I'm a nice boss, and if I change my tone, everybody's like, are you okay? No, I just want to get this done, and I'm too nice to all of you. So when I assert myself, they're like, are you sick? Are you
feeling okay?
And I know this is going to sound strange, but for the first time, I think in like a while, I haven't purchased a sewing machine or even gone looking for one.
Oh, that is going to make me ask if you're feeling okay.
No, it's only been 7 days. It's because I've been sewing, and like with the weather, it just made me not want to leave the house.
Right.
Like today was the first real day. And the thing is, when I say leave the house, I go to work.
Yeah.
You know, and like I took Isaiah with me today, and you know, when I talk about Rooster's Relics, the antique store, it's across the street from my job. The owner is
so it's like literally like, come to Coop-a-doodle-doo, come shopping.
And the owner is where he's subscribed to my channel, and I think he's identified both of my cars.
He's like, that guy is here again. What can I unload this time?
Well, there's one thing when you tell somebody like, hey man, you're gonna see me every day. Then there's a difference when they actually do. Hey, Kilroy.
Welcome. I'm glad you're up. I don't know if I should be pleased or sad that we're the first things you're doing in your tea time, but we're glad to have you.
You know what? There's no judgment here. Ever since Isaiah started homeschooling, like I make sure he's up. I literally call my job and I'm like, is the place still there? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm going back to bed. And I will take a good 2-hour nap after I get up and do my administrative hand waving. Mm-hmm. That reminds me, I'm going to take my Shatners off. I just wanted to be tall. I just want like let's be real, okay? I'm 5'9" and I live in a world of giants, and like I
I'm
just
not going
want
to
to
hear
be
any of this kvetching. If you're over 5'5", I take no sympathy.
my 13-year-old son is almost my height, and I didn't really because I feel tall.
Until you stand next to somebody taller.
Well, I'm the size of a teenager, but I'm a grown man, you know. So these kids walk up to me like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Dude, 2 years ago, I was towering over you."
Right.
Oh,
I feel that way with some of the kids I've known since they were like itty bitty, and then now they're like graduating high school or going to college, and they got so tall. I'm like, how did this happen?
my sister's kids are the worst because they're 6 feet tall. But my mom makes me feel tall because she's of that age where she's shrinking.
Uh-huh.
I watched my grandmother go from 5'4" to like 4'11" or 4'10" or something over the years. But she lived to be 99, so she literally shrunk to be a hobbit.
I already am a hobbit.
But that I am too. I am 5'9" with size 13 shoe. I am a real life hobbit. Like great at swimming. I had a great surfing career.
Right. It's something I never learned how to do. Oh my god, Killer, you're 6'3"? All I ha- all I'll say is I wish they still made cars that are living rooms on wheels. Ah, the land barge.
I miss those cars. Some of the greatest memories of my life were in giant land yachts like that.
Yep.
Let me take my vest off and I'll start showing off the stuff I made.
I know. I remember my grandparents used to have a powder blue Crown Victoria station wagon
Yes.
with a
Yes.
CB radio in it. For why? I have no idea. Just because he could.
When my dad passed away, he like was so weird. I own like I think 14 or 15 CB radios. I have one hooked up here where Isaiah harasses truckers all the time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we also used to have a scanner, police scanner in the living room that would go off. And when the fires happened in town a couple of years ago, I like downloaded the scanner app and was addicted to it. I'm like, oh my god, this was like my legacy of listening to the scanner.
All right, you had to say the S word, so I'm gonna turn. Oh, the battery is dead. Let's see if it works. Oh, it's still. This is my scanner, but because my neighbor is a sheriff, the sheriffs are on about a 45-second delay, so they're 45 seconds faster.
Right.
Because of scatter propagation, they can easily just scatter their signal and send it only to, but I can catch it. But because I want to say like a year ago, there was a serious issue of a neighbor, and I put my scanner out, and my cop neighbor walked up behind me, and he's like, "You're on a delay." I was like, "No, I'm not." The cars passed, and then I heard them talking. I'm like, "Okay, I'm on a delay." But I haven't turned this thing on forever. My dad would sit around and listen to the scanner because he said, and it's true, owning a scanner is more entertaining than a television. At least in LA County.
Yeah, ours was mostly when it wasn't fire stuff, it was a lot of domestics and sad things.
That's another thing. You find out who like the real hardcore, like crazy people in your neighborhood are. I found out a few people's secrets. But weirdly around here, which will be a shocker to no one, I live around a bunch of cops and they can't stop hurting each other. Their spouses, their children, each other. There was recently a cop who crashed his vehicle on a road by my house, got drunk. He was intoxicated. He crashed his cruiser into a tree and walked home. He was so drunk he walked home. There were every helicopter in the sky was over my house because the cop was missing. A cop. There was
Right.
literally, they put on the news. They're like, there's a cop missing. And this idiot was so drunk he went home in his full uniform and fell asleep.
As one would do.
Because we always talk about privilege and all that. If I did that, I would be under the jail. If any of us did that,
Right.
But this guy got help.
All right.
Which they should do for everybody. I'm heartless towards DUI people, though. I'm a little bit more heartless. Okay.
Especially in this day and age when there's either public transit, take an Uber, take a cab, take a Lyft. There's so many ways to get around.
Where I live, there are atheist and Christian organizations that will drive you home. They'll no question, or they'll take your car. They'll get a designated driver, and they'll drive your car home with you in the front seat.
Right, I know. I hear that's what they do in Korea all the time. Or you hire a driver for your car, which is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do it here. It's almost as I give random people.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. It's almost as if giving random people a 6 weeks course and then a badge may not be the wisest course of action. I concur. And for some folks, it seems like a little power goes a long way. Like if they're used to being oppressed and repressed, or the bullied kid, then they've got all that like pent up feeling that they're like, and now I'm in charge, so I'm going to take it out on all the minions.
We say this this is the first time I'll say it in English, but like, at least where I'm from, like brown cops are feared.
Yeah, they're scarier almost than the white cops.
There's this one cop that pulled me over 9 times to the point where where he pulled me over on the 9th time, he looked at me and left.
He's like, not you again.
I cursed him out, because every time he'd come up to my window, I said, well, this can't be about race because we're the same color, a-hole. I was like, so what's your issue? Right. And then one time he pulled me over. He's like license and ID. I said, MFer, you have my information already.
How many times have we done this dance?
Oh, he's such a deek. He is such. That's a D-I-I-C-K. Deek. You have to. Right. Oh man, so I agree, Kilroy. It's a big deal around here. It's a big deal, but like, I hate to say it, every time like a cop hurts someone in another state, our cops back off. It's so weird.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, we don't want to give ourselves a bad name more than we already are.
Well, and also people don't like I love it when people say, oh, California's a bunch of broccoli eating liberals. Like, no, they are not.
Only some of, I know, in the cities, but then there's so much farm country and migrant farmers and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, most of California's farmland, so you get this super hillbilly. I went to a major country western concert in Bakersfield, California. Because I had no idea they loved country music in Bakersfield. So I made overalls out of the tiger print or whatever.
Oh, cute.
I love overalls. And during the summer, it's just good lazy clothes. Right. Orange County is the most notorious. Like, don't ever get arrested in Orange County. Don't ever get arrested. Oh, are you talking about Orange County, Florida? Because I heard that's just as bad.
Right. Yeah, I think all the OCs are bad. What did I do this week? I have one half of of course, we're going to be too far away. I hand crocheted this shoulder strap. I need to make another one to go with my little paisley silk rayon thingy chemise. Because, of course, did I have lace? Yes, but did I want to over embellish it because I have enough know how to be dangerous? Of course, because it wouldn't be me. And on the bottom of my, of course I can't reach it, my primary color polka dotty skirt, the seam looks kind of wobbly. So what did I decide to do? But where's the picture here?
Oh, that's cool.
This little bobbly one, I'm going to trim the bottom of it to cover up where it looks funny. So I started that instead of finishing my other shoulder strap because I got bored. So I'm having second strap syndrome, which I guess if you sew, maybe it's not a seam problem, but in knitting, there's this thing called second sock syndrome where you finish knitting one sock and then you just can't get the gumption to finish the other one.
I've been there a few times. Wow, I didn't know it had a name. So,
at least for socks, yeah.
That's so funny. My hat did come out Paddington Bear, but I like the 1920s hobo look anyways.
It's cute, and it's going to look super fun with those bear tight or spotted overalls.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was a little rushed today at work because I actually had to work. But like I said, I love this fake Louis Vuitton print. I love these because it trips me out how somebody will pay $3,000 for this coat that I literally, it took me a couple hours to make, and like 20, 30 bucks in materials maybe. So I'd say like a $40 coat.
No, give yourself more credit than that. The electricity, it's probably $150 between your time, the electrics, your knowledge, and the materials.
Did you ever I don't go on Facebook as much as I used to, but I'm friends with everybody's mom on Facebook. And do you remember the outrage when like Versace and all these companies were selling distressed jeans for thousands of dollars?
Yes, I still don't get it. Like, my mother would never let me buy ripped up jeans. If you wore them out, then we would patch them, but
I have a stack if anyone's interested.
Right? You can pay me that money.
No, I've always thought about that because like my work jeans, if you give me like 3 months, I could put holes in them, all kinds of mystery gunk, all kinds of fun stuff. I sat in a resin. The whole reason I reupholstered my chair is because one day I looked down and I'm like, how did I get black resin on my chair? Not realizing I got it on my pants. I got it on my car. There was definitely a trail of proof of where it came from.
Right. Oh, well, at least it wasn't other bodily fluids. But yeah, I basted up the 1906 Camille Gord corset. And this one is different from the other one I did because it's got gussets in the bust, which I haven't cut because I'm like terrified. And this hip 3-piece hip gusset that is like the most confusing puzzle right now. And I'm like, it shouldn't be that hard. But my brain is like, I'm terrified of trying to figure out how you get together.
You know what? You're not alone. I haven't made the Mimi G overalls yet because I don't get the pattern. I don't get it. I've busted it out 100 times and I'm like, how does this make overalls?
Did you read the directions or just look at the pictures?
You know, I'm a man. I just looked at the picture. I'm a man. I don't have time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay. Well then, my first suggestion would be maybe actually read the directions.
It's because... Oh, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, Kilroy said they never got the ripped jeans craze, especially the ones where basically the whole front is gone. Yeah, if you can see your underpants, like, or the butt crack showing, like, I guess it is a look, but is it the look you really want?
I feel weird if my thighs are exposed and my knees are covered. I feel weird. Maybe I'm just prude.
No, I think it would be called chafing, and it hurts after a while.
Because I'll rock, like, I have a pair of work jeans that I'll rock a good hole in them, but they're just low. It's like, above the knee, like a natural wear and tear hole,
Yeah.
And eventually I patch all of them anyway. Oh, that reminds me. So I've said this before, but like, when do you patch a pair of pants too much?
When you're bored, I don't think you can. If you like the pants and they fit good, and then it becomes a new aesthetic art piece rather than just
Like these,
yeah, those have been well patched.
that's just the back and the front too. Oh man.
You're just preparing when you're going to cut them up to make quilt squares.
I have quite, like I said, Versace should call me. I have quite a few pairs of distressed jeans. I don't get it. And this is the thing that trips me out. It's kind of like when people pay a lot of money for sushi or Mexican food or things that were considered poor people food. It trips me out how someone wants to look like they're in a different class but pay a lot of money.
Well, depending on where you live, not everybody's by the ocean, so sushi sometimes literally can be expensive from the transportation costs.
I didn't think about that.
Sounds like you mean a duck. I mean a D. What? I don't understand, Liz. Sounds like a duck. I mean a D.
Oh, it's because I always my phone hates me, and so I'll say MFer all the time, but it says mother ducker. And I've tried to change it, like SHIT. You could type in SHIT on my phone, it'll say the word. But
Right.
if I say the F word, it says ducker. So I'll say, like, I'll send a message to Liz, like, this mother ducker did this, and this son of a smidge did this. And my phone hates me. My phone absolutely hates me.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't know, I keep seeing on like vidIQ and all like the YouTube like growth channels, they're like, oh, you should take advantage of Chat GPT and all this AI stuff. And I'm like, I can't bring myself to do it. AI live stream, so I don't know how it would make any sense because I don't script stuff. And I don't want to give away all my creative license to be a arsehole.
True. Very. Where is my other? Oh, so how do you feel? Like, I have a lot of vests that I wear, okay, that like say F you. I have enough friends. I have all these crazy patches. I have one vest that I wear that's like family friendly.
Yeah.
And I decided to add a patch to it.
Oh, let's see here. Kilroy had a setting on in their phone that turns off the profanity filter. I swear like a mofo. Oh my effing Chat GPT. I hope it dies in a tire fire. Yeah, I think all of those things. Plus, what was the one? Somebody wanted a Snoop Dogg inspired rap about Biden, and it was like, sorry, we won't do this for you.
So I had to add the original gangster himself, Woody, on here because I'm not a Tim Allen fan. So on my biker patch, I put Woody underneath. You know, honestly, lately everything's been so political. Like, I'm not anti-Disney. They haven't done anything wrong to me. I know, like, why do people? Can I ask you a real question? Because I live in a cave. Hey, yeah. Skits Crasher.
Hey, Skits.
Why do people hate Nike? Is it because of slave labor?
Maybe. I don't know, because Portland wouldn't exist without Nike.
Exactly.
Probably that. I don't know, but I don't think they did themselves any favors with the lawsuit against, was it Little Nas X, who had his specially altered ones with like the little blood vials in the heel or something weird. I don't think that earned them any favors.
They pump a lot of money into Los Angeles.
Oh no, hold on a second. Your Twitter got hacked. Is that because was that you? Oh, was that not you posting all that weird crypto stuff? That was weird.
Okay, Skits. Okay, I'm so glad you said that because I love you and I was trying not to judge you. I was, but no, because I fall down rabbit holes. I get it.
Right.
But if I'm selling crypto, someone's got a gun to my head.
Yeah, I don't know you well enough to not know, but I was like, oh, this is interesting. But yeah.
I wear New Balance, Kilroy. I wear New Balance. I have the stereotypical barbecue dad shoes.
I really liked my fancy Hoka ones when I had mangled my ankle and needed some partial reconstructive work done on it. But I really like that drop heel because I have poor arch strength and terrible ankle instability.
I walk funny. I saw my old boots the other day. I was like, wow, I drag my heel. I click when I walk. Like that's I like to go back to Skits. I'm so glad because I thought that you like had a head injury or something. Because overnight you were selling crypto, which is cool because when anyone friends me on Twitter, I usually follow them back. And I regret it sometimes.
Well, and I just thought it weird because we haven't known each other for that long, but from what I stalked on your Twitter page, like you're not a huge Twitter poster, so like 2 posts in 2 days was weird.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, I used to watch a lot of libertarian material on YouTube. They push crypto. Libertarians love themselves some crypto. So
yeah, well, now it's going to get taxed. Oh no, you lost all your access. They changed your email and password. It might be a lost cause. Oh, I'm so sorry. I will, let's see here. We're a band of nobodies, but maybe we can band together and get Team Twitter to take a look at this.
Actually, Liz is really good at reporting people. She went after all the people that doxed me.
All right, so you've got a loyal band of few but mighty.
I'll report your thing too. Good. I'm glad that person didn't porn bomb me because I've been sending links. You have to be careful with that because again, I didn't think it was real until Trusty Ape Podcast or I don't know, they have a bunch of channels, but they got porn bombed for real and their channel was taken down.
Yeah, it's so hard to, from what I've learned, it's like we need to make sure that the email that you use for your socials is different from all of your other emails, and to get like a Google number for your phone verification so that it's not your real phone number. There's a lot of stuff that we could probably be practicing. And also, on YouTube, when you upload videos and for live streams, if you mention places, there's in the description section of the videos, like in the back end, they have that automatic places feature. So if you mention stuff, then they'll geotag it. So you have to go through manually for all of your videos and unclick that box. Or if you say like, oh, I went here, then it will geotag it on your video, and it's a huge extra step.
I've given away my address at least twice in this stream then.
I shut it off on my I don't worry, I know about this, so I've been going through and unclicking. Not that I try to talk about places, but yeah.
I have, ever since I got doxxed, I'm kind of fearless about it. And there was years ago someone I do not necessarily agree with, but they were cruelly doxxed. It was a man in Australia who's the exact same age as I am. He just came out and he's like, I'm blah blah blah, I live here in Australia, come at me. That's all you can do, you know, once you get exposed like that.
Yeah, well, and I have this like double kicker because I do have a business website with a very public facing address, and all that's I'm not a public figure, but I do have publicly findable things.
I just don't want people to mess with my mom and the people that I work with, because I work with mentally disabled adults. Like,
Right.
they have the right to peace.
Their privacy. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so, and that's my whole issue.
Yeah.
The internet is wild. The internet, do you know, before, because I was thinking about this, my 2-year, my Godless Sewing actually posting content 2-year anniversary is coming up. But
congratulations.
thank you. But I've been on YouTube since 2018, and it's not for the faint of heart. It is not for the faint of heart, because you meet people from all around the world, and you think like, oh, this person's like me. Like, no, they're not. And I'm because I'm an explorer. I love meeting different people. I love, like, but sometimes you're like, I was a little bit too open.
Yeah, I consciously decided how public I want to make certain things, or certain topics I won't really talk about, because I am not camera shy, but I know lots of folks who would be very mad if I said anything that could even remotely be identifiable to them.
I think that's the one thing I've always had in my head, because like at my job, like if you start taking selfies around the people that live there, you can get it's a fireable offense.
Yeah.
So I've always, even before I got online, I've always had that. Like, I tell Isaiah, like, I don't want him jumping on stream when I'm live streaming, because I don't want people necessarily to know what he looks like.
Right. No, it's fair. Plus, he said, yeah, minors need protecting, special needs folks with special needs need protecting, and we don't want to. Well, I am deaf. This is not a kid-friendly channel or station.
You know what? I always tell him, like, bro, I don't smoke in the house. This is the one room where I come in here to hide. Right. And it was the same rule when I was a kid. My dad was a heavy smoker, and because he married my mom, he smoked outside in the garage. Right. My mom would not put up with that shit. But yeah. I give my son the same respect,
Right. And now it's law that it's like illegal.
Oh, and another thing for anyone, because people have tried, this room is detached from my house, so I could smoke my face off in here. No, because in the state of California, like, if your garage is connected to your house, you can't smoke in your garage if you have a minor in the house.
Yeah.
And like, I know a lot of people are going to be shocked, but we just now have a law where you can't smoke in the car with the child.
Yeah, let's catch up here quick. Yep, glad that you've never been doxxed, Liz. Killer, I kind of sort of don't care if I'm doxxed. I live way out in the country and I'm good with guns. If you want to come mess with me, you'll drive 2 hours to get rapid onset lead poisoning. Fair. Obviously not going to post my address though. Mail bombs are a thing. Yup. Fair. And I think that's almost twice as scary, being out in the country. Like, somebody's really has to like work for it, but it seems like what was it, the one streamer who was getting stalked? It seems like male streamers get swatted, but female streamers or YouTube social media people get stalkers instead.
I have 3 restraining orders out on individuals right now for being stalked. 2 are from let's just say people who couldn't take no as an answer.
Mm-hmm. Ugh.
Oh yeah, men are scary. It's a story everybody knows. It's the same. Like, there are some people that just can't be told no.
Yeah, and no means no, no matter who says it.
Oh yeah. And it's different. Like, when I was single, I would laugh at people, because I had to get a restraining order when I was way younger. But I have a kid,
Yeah.
Like, thou shalt not pass. No. Never mentioned that.
Daria was awesome. That brings me back to watching TV shows in the basement when I was a younger human.
It reminds me of I love Daria. I absolutely love that show. Do you know every once in a while, I like when I'll read out a comment of Kilroy, it's in Dario's voice in my head. And now it's on Paramount Plus. Where's my coat? And a long time ago, I made.
Don't tell me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna go grab a coat.
Okay, Kilroy. And meanwhile, here in Pennsylvania, you can still smoke in bars and bowling alleys and shit that owner allows it. Oh my goodness. Oh, that I've not lived in a state with such liberal policies in 20 years. But I think I figured out this hip gussets. The scary part is for the top of this, I'm going to need to make 2 slashes to fit the bust gussets in. And I'm terrified that I don't have enough seam allowance. So this is why we hand-based. And then, well, A, to make sure it fits. And then I might just have to sew those in by hand or do some reinforcing at the points because, yeah.
Oh, Kilroy's seen this, but I made this a while ago.
Fun. Oh my goodness.
Every time I wear this in public, someone's like, I love your coat. I'm like, I know your age. I know.
Yeah, because the youngins just don't understand. They're weird kids these days. I don't get them.
I have a weird question. Are people more introverts? Like, or are they just like, because being online is like a one-person sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have participants, and it says yes to you no matter what.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of the YouTubers I watch that they would claim to be more introverted in their real life, not in the real world.
I grew up with consequences and repercussions, and it stops me from like I think like, hey, if I do this, I'm gonna have consequences and repercussions, and I don't see that in a lot of younger people. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm just that like, but like I always say, like imagine the World War II generation looking at the 1960s and 1970s generation. They would have been like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world.
They were saying that, yep, because that's it.
I remember my grandfather. When I went through my sagging my trousers phase, he he looked at me and he's like, dude, I haven't changed my style since 1940. And I was like, Grandpa, you're way older than me, because he always wore khakis and a shirt.
Yeah.
Or a nice shirt. You know, he came from that 3-piece suit era.
Yeah. Right, where you smoked your cigarettes and had your dry bar in the office.
Oh gosh, he was that guy. Like I loved my grandfather. He drank scotch till the day he died. My grandmother made him quit smoking cigars. Because my family was so much older, like I hung out with a bunch of retirees.
Right.
So my grandfather was in his Godfather era at the end of his life, you know, and he would be gardening with scotch. He always smelled like scotch.
No, mine liked a 7 and 7.
Ooh, I could smell that. The second he said 7, I could smell that.
Yeah, had to be Seagrams.
I used to go to, my dad was part of an organization. It was the Lost Patrol. They would go to Vietnam and bring back deserters and prisoners of war and all kinds of people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Once a month, it was basically where all the bikers got together and had a meeting. But long story short, like I would hang out in a room with a bunch of men who would drink large amounts of, you know, white and brown liquor and then get on their motorcycles and all go on a run down the canyon, you know?
Oh, God. Right. Some of them may or may not with their helmets on.
Oh, it was before the helmet laws.
Okay.
Or when they started enforcing them.
Right, which is why Kilroy tries to be merciful. I was a complete shithead at that age, but at the same time, I'll be like, where the fuck did these idiot kids come from?
But I think that's where I'm teetering.
Too old for my age.
I think that's awesome though, being more mature for your age. Did you always have older friends?
I was not really no I was hard. I didn't have a lot of friends, and I was usually the girl with the who hung out with all the strange chaps, or I
I
was
know
a
what you're saying.
loner.
I was kind of like that too because I feel like I didn't have a place. I didn't
Yeah.
fit in with certain crowds. You know, we don't get along anymore, but I will give credit to my cousin who is he's half Mexican and half Irish. He is this 6'3" giant white guy. And when we were in high school, he's like, "Hey, come hang out with me." He was the skater, the popular skater group, and he took me under his wing. And he could have easily been like, "I don't know that brown kid."
Right.
But so for as much as we don't get along and he's a wiener, like he like went out of his way to make sure that I had friends in high school because I would not have. I would not
Oh,
have had
that's
friends.
thoughtful. Yeah, I spent most of my time playing violin and practicing because I thought I was going to be a professional musician. So I had an excuse to not have to talk to people.
I played the violin. I played the violin all the way up to the 8th grade until basically I stopped wearing my Boy Scout uniform because that would get you beat up.
Uh-huh.
And I stopped playing the violin because it wasn't swinging the chicks.
Right. Yeah, we're a dime a dozen. Oh, right. I've always had friends that were older than me. I never fit in with people my own age. Fair.
That was me too. But I was like a oops child, so I always was around people twice my age.
Right. And Liz loves Daria too. That's you don't ever have to apologize for disappearing for work. We just need to know that you're back safely.
I
Or
know.
let us know when to send out to call in for the bigger patrols.
I think I still remember the Portland number by heart too.
I know. I think we talk about this every time. She knows. So she just needs to, if needed, will be done. Oh, mine needs a tune-up, and I would never call it fiddling. I'm classically trained.
I did have a mandolin for a while, but it's at my brother's house in Montana.
I know. I wish I had my grandma's balalaika.
Oh wow! And see, that's another thing. Like instruments are so expensive nowadays. Like my Fender banjo, I keep that thing in the case for a reason.
Right.
I have a Dean that's in the closet that but it's a 6-string. But like instruments are so unreal expensive nowadays.
Yeah, if you have to consider buying special insurance for it or putting it on your insurance policies, then you're like, okay, this is not just a nothing.
Oh man, we got killed. The Rangers won 5-2. Back to you, Phoenix.
Oh, the Kings got crushed. Yay, New York teams, even though I don't live there anymore.
They always take it personal because the last time the Kings won the Stanley Cup is they beat the New York Rangers in Los Angeles.
Ouch, so it's personal.
And in a very ironic way, a few neighbors that I did not know were from New York did not talk to me for a couple months after that. Sports hysteria is like, I have a rule: if you're not paying my bills, you can't live in my head. Like I'll be like, oh, my team lost, but I'm over it already, you know.
Right. Oh, let's see here. Yep, Liz de Kilroy. I was the same. I hung out with my teachers. Yet I think they kind of frown upon it that now these days, depending on because things are weird. And
Weird.
wanted to.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No. When you said kids hanging out with teachers, the red sirens went off.
Yeah, there's certain things that we can't that are different these days. But Kilroy wanted to play the balalaika so bad when I had my Russian and Soviet obsession. Yeah, it's when your family's Slavic, it's just I don't know if it's tradition. Oh, you had a Wurlitzer organ? Oh no.
Wow.
In my thing is I want to learn how to play a Wurlitzer organ, an instrument that's literally built into a building. Yeah. When my university, their pipe organ, I think they built the concert hall around the organ. I don't think so. No. Fiddle and banjo concert.
The banjo is so loud you'd be throwing your headphones. Like, if you ever get bored, look up banjo memes. They're all about how the other person is annoyed at the person playing the banjo.
I'm not a play by ear musician, and I don't love that style of music. I appreciate it, but I don't love it.
I'm indoctrinated. I grew up around hillbillies. I don't know any better. Like, I grew up like I've like lately there's certain things where I'm really into it, and I'm like, this is engineering. I'm into it because the people before me were obsessed about it, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
And I've seen a lot of people play live.
Yeah.
So the worst has hit us. At least what I think. We got hit with a 2 or 3 day storm. It was unreal, you know. But it's now we have a bunch of beautiful snow on the mountains. A few shots will be in my next video. Because I was at the ranch today looking at the hills, and I was like, holy cow, those hills are a lot closer. Because when the snow is on the mountains, you see how close they are.
Right.
Spatial perception is real. Something that's humongous looks close until you start driving towards it and you see how humongous it really is, you know?
Yeah. We had snow this morning. I think I've got snow we're under a winter weather advisory. It's all hit or miss though, depending on where the weather comes from. It's much nicer when it comes up from the south rather than straight up from the ocean.
Exactly.
As the crow flies.
It's gross here. And now I'm looking at one of my cameras. I got to clean it off because it's all smooth.
Oh, killer in my teens. I was a huge pipe organ nerd, and honestly, I still kind of want one. That my friend who learned to play he already played piano, but would volunteer at churches because they always need pipe organists at church services. Oh, this is sad that the Kings lost. I'm terrible at playing instruments. As my father always says, being a listener is just as important as being a musician because we need everybody.
Absolutely. Oh, I used to, you know what? I'm going to call her and see where it is. I know someone that owns a Nickelodeon and I want it now.
Oh my God.
A real Nickelodeon.
To
the point where they tricked me because they walked in their grandmother's house and was like, I know how to play the piano. I'm like, you do? I've known you for years. You don't. She walked right up and looked like she was playing the piano, but it was a Nickelodeon.
Oh, you got scammed.
Well, I'd never seen one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, people aren't prepared for the snow here. I think that's the number one thing is city dwellers are not prepared for natural disasters.
No, but they also don't have the infrastructure. Like, how many snow plows does the valley actually have? Like, you've got a handful for the mountain passes for the bougie skiers or the not bougie skiers, and the magic of chemical deicers is real. That horrible rock pumice is bullshit.
I agree.
Doesn't do anything.
I was recently at a wholesale place where I was like, what do you need a snowblower for? They were selling it. I'm like, what is it doing here? This should be somewhere where people could use it.
Right. Spare parts.
Yeah.
I know. Liz, you did get snow.
Oh yeah, you guys. Do you know when I lived there, it snowed like my second year there, and it was so strange because everyone was like, it never snows here. Literally the next week we were covered in snow.
It was like my first trip to Seattle. It was like, we were expecting it to be balmy, 50, gray and rainy. Yeah, it snowed. I was like, we left the snow to come to Seattle. Why is it snowing?
Gilroy, I agree, but I live here and I'm ashamed of every single person. Like, every single
Oh, God. Yeah, they are helpless.
They are.
And they'd be charming if they weren't terrifying behind the wheel.
I was just about to say, and this is the one thing that bothers me because LA is a transitory city. So 50% of the population was not born here or has just moved here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So wherever they're coming from, they can't drive either. And I am looking at you, the entire state of Pennsylvania, because for some reason people love moving here from Pennsylvania and then they drive crazy and say that we can't drive.
Well, they're used to chemical de-icers and like huge open swaths of road where you have to worry more about hitting an Amish horse and buggy than seeing another person.
But we have the probability of hitting a yuppie on a bicycle in full gear, the weekend riders.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're helpless. See, but I'm a hillbilly, so I have like a generator, like I have a man. If it came down to it, I'll cut my trash can in half and put a scoop on my truck.
Oh, that's fascinating, Killer. You live near a national park. We'll get people from Florida and California who wear winter coats in the 60s. It's adorable. Yeah, that is cute.
Okay, so you see how I'm not laughing on that?
Because you
true. That's a straight jab, but it's so true. About 3 years ago, I was on a stream with people in the UK, and they were like, ask the A word with it, because I was wearing a sweatshirt with a leather jacket and a knitted cap on, and they were like, dude, is it like 20 degrees there? And I'm like, nah, man, it's 55. I'm freezing. And they're like, what? I was like, it's 55 degrees. And they're like, you're a wussy.
Right, this is summer weather here.
But dude, in California, I was dying.
Right. I know Pittsburgh is funny, Kilroy. People drive. They just committed homicide and want to commit it again. I think it's the water from Lake Erie and all of the chemicals and pesticides going through. If I had to take a guess.
Well, and also a certain generation was exposed to a certain chemical and gas, which makes them more susceptible to being angry. I'm looking at you, boomers.
Right, Agent. Yeah, there are certain things. Plus, oh no, that was in World War II. But 9 Mile Island and all of those other things. And now we've got our new disasters.
Do you think it's because we pay more attention? I feel like this has always gone on, but we're just...
Oh, yeah. No, I think disasters always... Yes. That we hear about it more because of social media and independent news journalists, because I think the mainstream media is bullshit.
I'm going to find that video. There's a video where they show local stations from around the country, and they're literally all saying the same thing.
Yep.
And then it ends up sounding like like a Borg cube. They end up sounding like the Borg because they're all saying the same thing. It's gross.
It really is. Yeah. So I try to, when they're on, I don't always, their personality is kind of great on me, but because they're generally non-biased, the writer Megan Fox, who writes for PJ Media and live streams her news show, when Fair and Balanced is on, Faran, the blonde-haired Slavic lady, not the gentleman from India, whose also name is Farron, but I think there's an E in there. I really like their listening to them.
Names are funny that way. I know in England, Keely means flower, and in Swahili, it means a warrior. So like, I know a few people named a Keely, and it's an African name, but I know in the UK, it literally means flower.
Yep. Yeah, because I just got so disenfranchised, and I realized, like, I put my head in the sand with the news for such a long time, and I was like, I kind of need to pull myself out and keep up with what's going on.
I definitely had to step away. I got a little too involved to the point where, like, not as bad. I had a friend from Norway. She got so bad that a doctor told her to quit. Basically, her psychologist was like, stop watching the news. Stop going on these channels. It's ruining your life.
Mm-hmm.
And her and I do not talk anymore because of politics, and we kind of feel the same way. But she's just so annoying and fervent with it. It's just get out of my face, you know?
Right. Oh, this is gonna be funny. Kilroy's been through the old newspaper archives from the late 1800s. They reported all kinds of messed up crap back then too. I think people were more likely to just forget or brush stuff off in the past. Fair. I think there was always weirdos as well. Because Lizzie
Oh,
Borden.
oh, totally, totally. But I try to take in consideration like the population was less. Like
Yeah.
up until penicillin, the population was pretty much 2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And then after World War I is when the population boomed to what we know it is now. So only in like an 80-something year period, that's literally like 6 billion people born in 80 years.
Right. So there's more people to do stupid things versus in the past where there was just less. Stuff still happened. It's just less because there was less people around to do it.
Do you think we're more freaked out as a society though? Because like I was literally a feral child, and like my kid can't go anywhere without a phone or a chip in his shoe or something, you know?
Yeah, I think that age of like helicopter parenting and like in the 80s, some of that like beginning of the participation era, more in the 90s, because the 80s we were still like feral and crazy. But yeah, something shifted. Oh, you know what? I wonder too, that fear of the new satanic panic and rock music and Tipper Gore.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that when they tried to get rid of rap in the 90s too with Dan Quayle. I
Yep.
forgot about that. I remember my dad being like, "Well, they're not going to get rid of this. Don't worry about it, kid."
No, but they sure tried, and it
Oh
was a
yeah.
mess. Okay. Oh my gosh. We have
But then
one Gore pinned
awesome.
in.
But
But
then
I
you
don't think I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, please. I'm just going to ramble.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm gonna hold off on basting, and I'm just gonna leave it pinned in until I pin in the lacing straps and figure out how to do these gussets in the front, and then because I should probably finish all of the seams and then do these three pieces and treat it as a unit, because I think I'm going to do flat felled seams on this because I don't think I'm going to bone it and I want that structure. Okay, rambling about sewing.
Oh no, I'm here for it all day. Part of my tuning out is I watch sewing channels, and I always challenge myself to watch something that's not in my genre, you
Yeah.
know? Like now I want a knitting machine.
I go back and forth about that, but I really love the practice of knitting. I think maybe one of the little the circular sock machines. I think that might be more fun than the other ones. But I
That's what I
like
was
to
looking
knit.
in. Sorry, that's what I was looking into was because I watched someone because I have this weird like ADD Battlestar Galactica Picard thing going on. I have a bunch of screens going on at once. So I'll have like the banjo screen because I'm always trying to increase. I want to get better, but then I watch
Yep.
sewing all day long, and like I want a sock machine.
Right.
But it's way more complicated than it looks, though. That's the thing about sewing. Like, I dive into
Yep.
things.
Right. I like engineering knits on her station did she rebuilt a knitting machine and then bought a circular sock machine. But I've been getting into the I don't know what her name is, but the station is My Bucolic Life. Her sewing videos are like at least an hour, if not longer, and she's so knowledgeable.
I waffle back and forth. Like when I do anything over 15 minutes, I'll get the views, but not as much. When I do like a 7 minute, like, oh, I just made this and this, I get like 1,000 something views. But like I want people to see the process in which how we got there in the first place,
Right. I know. I need to do more I keep thinking about it. I think I need to start after I film something, whether it be on my phone or on my camera, when I download it, transfer it to my external hard drive, I need to label what project it is because nothing's labeled. It's just like the date and the time, and I can't find anything. And that makes editing a bear.
I have an Apple. Do you have an Apple, if you don't mind me asking? The
No, I
only
am anti-Apple. We talked about this. I used an Apple IIe in like
Oh,
kindergarten
that's
and I
right.
hated it and I never
The,
looked back.
the only reason I bring it up is because they make computers for dummies like me, and it lines everything up in order. And so no matter what I filmed, it's in the order in which it was filmed. And so I could go back like, okay, well, I remember making a sweater on this day. Then I could just go in that file and
Oh,
all the stuff I filmed is
yeah,
there.
no, the Samsung and Google and the Microsoft are the same way. I can do that stuff. It's just going back and doing it and like
Because
transferring it to my, what am I using? Black Magic DaVinci.
every time I edit, I'm like, I can see why people get paid to edit.
Right.
Because there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, I quit. I don't want to
Yeah.
sit here. Like it's, or even like last night, I was like, I'm going to make a coat. I remember looking, it was 10:45. I was done at 3:15 in the morning. And it didn't even dawn on me until I looked at it. I was like, holy cow, it's 2:30 in the morning. Like I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this coat right now.
Yeah. I think Killer Ray had a good statement here. And nowadays, the internet kids can look up prawn and hardcore gangsta rap at 7. Yeah, I think parents need to do a better job. Like,
So
this
true.
whole that who should be in charge, and parents need to be looking at what they're paying attention to what their kids are doing. Like that whole Seattle school district suing Google and all this stuff. Like, who do we want the government, i.e., public schools, to parent our kids, or do parents, are they shirking their responsibility?
I don't know why. Oh, go ahead. Oh, before I go off.
Listen, they grew up as a latchkey kid. Mentally, we were very independent as kids. I had 2 jobs by the time I was 6. Yup. I know, because I was watching my younger siblings when I was like 9, and there was a handful younger than me because I was the eldest.
11, I babysat, and my aunt worked. She worked at a high school, and so during the summer, my cousin and I would work the cash registers. I was like 10 years old, and we would work at the ASB, during the summer.
Yup.
They worked us back in the day.
I know, and now that parents would like get lambasted for doing stuff like that, it's weird.
Our safeguarding of children, we do not safeguard kids like we should. And so it's a sore subject with me. If you're not all up in your kid's business, I don't know what you're doing. Like anytime you hear a bink or a boom on my phone, it's not just my emails. Anytime anyone sends anything to Isaiah, I get the email.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Well, I was just saw somebody the other day, and their 5-year-old has their own Minecraft character, and I'm like, why is this kid not outside? They shouldn't be. I don't know, but I'm not a video gamer either.
Isaiah didn't get a video game system until he was way older. I wanted him to be a kid first.
Right. Like, you got to practice these gross motor skills, because I mean, I played outside, but hand-eye ball sports are not for me.
But also it's real life. I ask this
Yeah.
question all the time. Do people like people don't experience things anymore? I know I am a tortured artist stoner, but like even last night, like I grabbed my pipe, it was all windy. I just was like staring. I was like, the moon was covered by the clouds, and I was on the side of my house, and I was like, this is awesome. I was just experiencing the moment out in the elements.
Right. Oh, Liz, not fond of making videos. It's definitely a talent. It's so, pre-recorded videos are so different from live streaming, and I'm lazy, which is why I live stream. And I love live performing, so it's more like you get one shot, you either mess it up or you don't, and nobody's gonna care. And if they do, then whatever. Oh, killer at Catholic school. I'm sorry. I hope the nuns didn't beat you with sticks. In Catholic school, they used to have us peeling potatoes and washing dishes for the fish fries. Oh, yup. Oh, let's see here. Scene. Skits. Shut up, kid. I'm older than the internet. Yes, I know.
That's a
We all
t-shirt.
remembered.
That first off, that's a t-shirt, Skits. I like that. I do. There's a very famous story in my family where my dad took an L for me. Back in the dial-up day, I didn't realize you got charged like for long distance. And like my mom, we were sitting at the dinner table, and my mom was mad talking to everybody. And my dad's like, "What? What?" And she's like, "All right, it's one of you two." She was like, "Who was looking up porn in South Africa?" I'll never forget that for as long as I live. I will never forget that because she was ready to fight. My dad was like, "It was me," and it wasn't him. It was me. I just typed in words on the internet.
Oh,
And kids, this was like 90. Gosh, this was like 96, 97. Yeah.
yeah.
Back in the chat room day.
Yes.
I wonder about some of the people that I used to talk to in chat rooms. Like, I really wonder what happened to these people, because the real internet happened,
Right. I know. Did they go straight? Did they go to the dark web? Are they okay? Are they still 6 feet above and not 6 feet under?
Oh yeah. There's a YouTuber I watch. She constantly talks about that. And I know we have to be around the same age. Because she'll make certain references and I'm like, but it's so different. It's hard to tell in the UK because they and many socially they're like 100 years ahead of us as far as like dealing with certain social issues. But technology wise, like I watched stuff from the 90s and they were like 10 years behind us.
Yeah.
So
the cats are looking at me. Can I have you hold on the fort while I feed cats real fast?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back in a second.
No worries.
All right, come on, cats.
See. So, Skits, how bad is it up there? I grew up in the garage playing with power tools and building random shit. It was definitely a good thing. Same. Because my dad was an electrical engineer, like I had access to every tool known to man. I loved taking my bike apart and putting it back together for no reason. Well, when I was way, way younger. I miss those days, actually. Still to this day, I let my son, like, he knows as long as he's not hurting himself, he can grab any power tool. But I am interested. I'm always like, what are you making? and if a kid walks in and walks out with like a power tool, you should definitely be like, hey, what are you doing? I miss the chat rooms. I miss the chat room era. That was like the emo era because it was always for emotional support because the internet was a baby. People didn't know what the internet was. And it was like, I can actually talk to somebody like, like you'd say, hey, where are you? And they'd be like, I'm in Idaho. And you'd be like, whoa, Idaho's really far away. It's funny because we take modern technology for granted nowadays. It just rained a lot, but my kiddo and his mom just got 18 inches of snow. Yeah, you're in NorCal. Crazy. We're just not used to this weather. At least I'm not. I'm not used to this weather one bit. You know what though? I'm gonna enjoy it because it's gonna be hot as hell itself this summer. So for as much as I'm griping about how cold it is, I could barely handle last summer. Barely. And I know it's only gonna get worse around here. It's a snowy. Do you know what I think it is? Is the West Coast doesn't get hit like this. People on the East Coast are laughing at us. I guarantee you the average person on the, at least around here, doesn't even have chains in their vehicle. I used to talk to these old school college professors, and when I was a kid, yep. I miss that whole era. It was much more of an innocent time, though. I think we're like, I don't know if society has plateaued, but it just seems like people are way more jaded nowadays and indoctrinated. I guess it's more like how much propaganda is in you. I don't know. I don't even know what the answer is anymore because it's definitely. Do you think it's a generational thing, Phoenix, where people don't understand each other anymore? Because I don't know. Is it the death of communication?
I think there is an issue with communication. I also think that people are taking. I can only I somewhat in the religious, but somewhat with the political stuff, or like folks are like feel like their beliefs are their dogma, like it's become a new religious belief, and they're not willing to have cordial discourse and attempt to hear. Like, I don't want to change people's opinion, but I'm curious to hear. Like when I ask you on things that I'm like, you have a completely different experience of like last week when we were talking about the statues and stuff. Like, that's not my. For lots of reasons, I only know the viewpoint that I was brought up with. So sometimes I'm curious as to like what is somebody who's very different from me, or on the surface appearance.
Totally, I get it. Totally, I get it. I'm the same way. Like I always say, like I know all of my stories. I want to hear other people's stories. I want to see the other side.
For 100%. I'm just a curious cat, so I like to hear stuff.
I watch a lot of stuff of people in Southeast Asia. I watch a lot. I watch a lot of Nigerian television. They're way more conservative than Americans. They are conservative. Like,
yeah, well, that's the same with some of the folks who've moved up from like South America or the Near East, who are very either like super Catholic and super religious, and they're very Republican, and they're like not at all social liberal, lived through communism. So we're like, no, we want free market, capitalist, everything. No this, no that.
Oh yeah. I think the problem is that we no longer have discourse, or we can't find a balance anymore because everything is so emotionally driven.
Right. People don't know how to talk without their feelings. And these things are not, they don't need to be feelings driven. They can just be like intellectual. Like, your feelings are valid, but you don't have to lead with them.
Like I tell my sons, and this is just me, but like feelings sometimes are liars because like you'll be mad as hell. An hour later, you're like, what the heck was I mad about? I don't even remember what I was, like feelings are funny that way. It's a chemical response. It's not a way to live.
They are. Oh, Killer, I missed one of your chats from, I can't scroll up higher, but let's see here. Liz misses the 90s and 2000s. Me too. Though I don't miss the body dysmorphia I had of that when heroin chic was the in thing, because my bone structure is just not built that way. And skits, we need all the rain and snow for the upcoming summer drought. Seriously, our man-made reservoir lake doesn't exist, and they used to bring the firefighting helicopters with their tanker bags to fill up in the lake, but it doesn't exist anymore. Oh, I'm ready for some sun, but I need more moisture. MIRC was my jam. I don't know what that is.
I think I have pictures of that lake that you're talking about in 2012 when the water levels were already going down.
Probably, yeah.
I think I know exactly.
The lake for non-immigrants. Oh, Liz is waiting for this sun. Yeah, we do need to we used to have compromise. Yeah, I feel like people, but I think maybe we're overcompensating, because there was a time, maybe it wasn't in your family, but in my family, there was mask face it, you muscle through it, no crying in
Yep.
anything, like no showing emotion. It was like you just shut up and took it.
Same.
And now we're
Same.
like, hey, you've got all your feelings. So I think maybe the pendulum is from that. We've gone way too far in overcompensating, and we need to get back to something that's in the middle, because neither of them are like most awesome. But Killer Ray's pet theory, it's because of all the superhero movies, people want to see the world as good people and bad people, and we can't see shades of gray. That I think is true also.
Thank you.
Plus, the also, unfortunately, I don't like how superhero films give kids false impressions of what is physically attainable in real life. So they're using tren and substances as teenagers and not optimizing diet, nutrition, and lifestyle habits to build muscle. They're like, oh, we can do this, not realizing like most of it is CGI anyway.
Exactly. Or like someone like crash dieting and working out for a month.
Right. Yeah. Neither of those are good. It like, I'm against kids using substances to change their body. Yeah, that's the statement.
Here, yeah, exactly.
Regardless of why they're doing it, I don't like that.
When I was a kid, there was never pressure to look like a bodybuilder at 15. There was never pressure to look like, to look like that as a child, you know? And now you have to look, if you're not ripped, if you don't look like Zac Efron or these weirdos that play like, hey kids, he's like my age playing a teenager. He just looks young.
Right. Yeah. Plastics. Well, all that surgery stuff didn't help.
It's definitely a generational thing.
Yeah. I think that
Oh, go ahead.
it's definitely one of the downsides of social media and like people seeing too much and not realizing or not being developmentally aware enough to know like they're using filters, they photoshopped it. It's nobody. I'm too lazy to do too much other than like a tiny bit of color correcting in my pictures. But
I trigger. There's someone who shall be remain nameless. Someone I grew up with. We were the token black kids in our town of a certain age, and so people would always try to hook us up. Like 5 different people were like, "Oh, I want to hook you. I'll take you on a blind date," and we would show up and be like, "Dude, stop trying to." But anyways, every time I post a selfie on Facebook, she'll post like, "No filter, blah blah blah." Like it we have these unreal expectations of what we're supposed to look like. You know, we have these unreal, like, I look this way because my father, his ancestors were African. I don't look my age, you know, and it's not anything I'm not wearing oil of Olay or anything. Like
I had to start. Last year I went back to using that when I was taking off my makeup. I was like, I need a good thing, and I went back to the good old. Oh no, I've got Pond's cold cream, but still same difference. Samey. This is true, Killer Ray. My family is the same. Just get on with it. You don't have time to get caught up in the situation and be emotional. The more time goes on, the more I appreciate and go towards that. Yeah, my mom gets mad because I'm sometimes I just like cry for no good reason. Well, there's usually a reason, but I get yelled at for crying sometimes. We need more differently abled superheroes. Yeah.
It just projects false images to people that you're supposed to be something that you're not. Just as when I was younger, I got in a lot of trouble because I basically said that, like, in a church meeting, I was like, this is unobtainable perfection. Yeah. Is basically what I said. I was like, how can anyone live this S? This is unobtainable. And I look at like movie stars like that too. Like, they are engineered to look like that.
Right.
If any of us went to a gym, do you know there's a gym by the grocery store I go to, okay? There are some really good looking people that go in that gym, but they go there 7 days a week.
Yep.
You
You
know?
work out, you do the things. It's true. And it's hard to tell who's using stuff and who's not. I love,
True.
it's been a while, but I really enjoy Greg Doucette's station. Some of his recipes are my favorite ones. He sells expensive cookbooks, but the best recipes he gives away for free. And he talks about how many people are using juicy vitamins and they think it's going to get them the body that they want, but either they don't have the genetic potential to respond to the substances and or they're not doing the work. If you don't pick stuff up and put stuff down, you're not going to get muscles.
Mm-hmm. I in LA, there's a thing like if you see a really buff dude, it's probably a gay guy because they're the only ones that care
The
that
whole
much.
bigorexia thing, that's or the old from the 80s that carry over that if you were too skinny, you probably had AIDS. So you have to
Oh
look really
God.
big to not have that air of that you might be sick.
As someone who's a skinny person, I get it, especially because I speak Spanish. People say that all. Are you? ¿Tú es enferma? Enferma? No, I'm not sick. I'm just skinny. Get out of here. No, but in LA, like what did you call it? I really like what you just said. Big dysmorphia. What was it
Oh
called?
no, they call it bigorexia.
It's huge in LA. It's huge, especially like in West Hollywood. It's sad because you like you can tell because they're so well kept. Like no one cares that much.
Right.
No one-
Or if you've got that much money for plastic surgery, are you using
True.
it in the right things? Oh, killer it. I like people who look like they've been through shit because they've been through shit. I'm suspicious of pretty people. Yeah. If your hands aren't calloused, then something's wrong.
I still say that like in a weird way. I don't trust you if you don't smoke or drink. Sorry, I'm a pirate. I'm a pirate in that way. Like you have to have a vice. Like here, smoke it in front of me. No, smoke it in front of me. Like I don't trust you.
Oh, where's that? Okay.
Well, I guess there's a fine line, but yeah, there are certain vices where like it's extremely teetotaling. I've never met anyone who's 100% sober, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And when I say that, I mean they could be using anything as a drug, over excess
Yeah.
of anything.
Yep.
I know people like we were just talking about that use working out as a drug, you know.
Absolutely. It all gives the same dopamine rush.
I smoke too much. I'm too chilled to like go to the gym and like. Do they have a gym where I could just lay in the pool and sit in the sauna?
Hey, I think it's called the Y.
Yeah. Oh,
But
we have a pool at my job. I'll just go lay in that pool.
right. So I have some random fabric. I'm soliciting suggestions.
Awesome.
This I know what I'm going to do with this weird fabric. I'm going to mock up these. They're not bigger than palazzo pants, like the split riding skirt. I found some patterns, and I'm just going to take my straight leg pants and just round it out. So I've got a mock up for it, and then if I like it, I have this.
Ooh,
blue denim, which is I've got a goodly amount and I'm short, so I can make. I'm thinking of like, does it say how much I have?
that's denim.
No, but it did cost me $5.79.
That's denim.
It is denim.
Oh, that's awesome. I love.
The Goodwill.
Oh, that's a score. I love anything
I know.
like any denim. I love red, black, green, orange. I love all denim.
Yeah, so that's the mock-up in the final, and I'll probably do like a vest or something to go with it. And I've got this blue with daisies on it.
That's I'm a flower fanatic when it comes to patterns.
I know. I'm thinking maybe like a half circle skirt with a fitted like bodice. Maybe I'll try a sweetheart neckline. I don't know. But what do I want to do with this?
Yes.
And I've got a goodly amount of it.
Oh,
and I'm terrified of it because it's going to fray like a mofo. But
do you, oh, wow. What's your style? Do you wear long sleeve, short sleeve? Are you like, because I live in long sleeve. Even during the summer.
Yeah, my office, when I'm at my proper office, I'm the first one off the AC unit, so I'm too hot in the winter and too cold in the summer.
Mm.
So I kind of dress like it's autumn or spring all the time with layers.
Kilroy, I legitimately am gonna be that guy. I love a sauna. I'll smoke a J and sit in the sauna for a good minute. Like I
Yeah.
love sauna.
Oh, a sauna only for a minute. No, you have to like drag my dehydrated grape skin of a shell of a corpse from the sauna.
Well, when I say a minute, I say like, like bad means good. Like where I'm
Yeah.
from, when we say, "Oh, it's been a minute," that means it's been a while.
Right, yeah. Goodwill sucks for finding raw fabric or tablecloths or anything. I'm sorry. It is kind of you have to go a lot. And
Yeah.
I almost went today, but I'm like, I have 3 tubs of fabric and I need to get rid of sew up at least one of them before I can buy more. Liz is a pool bum rather than a gym rat. Oh, thank you. I know it like terrifies me because looking at this stuff, it frays, and I don't. Do I want like
Maybe a vest?
Edwardian a vest? I've got more than enough that I can make a skirt and a vest because I'm short.
Awesome.
So, or do I want pants? Or culottes? I just don't know.
I love bright patterns. I love patterns like that. I go looking for stuff like that. You know, Kilroy, I score all the time, but it's more at off thrift stores, not necessarily Goodwills. It just depends on the neighborhood. There's this one neighborhood I go to, they always have fabric, but I feel like it's a more established, older neighborhood, so people are donating. I'm trying to say it nicely. More people are passing away in this.
Right, the old estates of like, this was great grannies and nobody sews anymore and we don't know what to do with this shit, so we just need to unload it.
I love it when I find that. I'm like, oh, they did not know what they had. I will gladly,
right.
Especially when I was going through my my cloak phase. You know, queen size and king size blankets are expensive.
Yep.
I found one for like $12 at a thrift store. I found another one for like $10. Even I got to the counter and the lady's like, she looked at me like I was switching the tags. She was like, holy cow, this is cheap.
And here, this is some fake leather.
Oh.
It's got like a snake skinny look to it that's not, it kind of is coming off. I'm thinking of a corset belt or maybe I might, when I decide on the corset I want, I might do one in this because I have 6 or 7 pieces of real leather that I keep dreaming of like a real leather corset, but I have to know exactly what I want and get all the fitting stuff because I only get one shot at that.
Leather is so hard to work with. That's one thing I have quit on. I used to do a lot of leather and leather work, and it's just, I started making mistakes. I thought I was going to get better, and I started getting worse.
We also have this burgundy stretch velour that I probably have at least 3 yards of.
Oh, burgundy is one of my favorite colors. I always buy burgundy fabric. These curtains, everything is burgundy, but I've just covered it over the years. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've got beautiful stuff that I just like, I don't know. I'm scared and I don't know what I want to or what I need.
Really bad suggestion. I made a pair of harem pants out of that very material. But you know, I call them MC Hammer pants out of the burgundy. So I have burgundy MC Hammer pants, but they're harem pants. They're awesome.
Yeah, that would be cute. I don't know if that shit your pants style would look good on me because I'm so short that it might be just like dragging my butt on the floor. There's not a lot of distance between my fanny and the floor.
It did take me a while to figure out the crotch on hammer pants so it didn't like balloon up in the front.
Right, like I got the ginormo package. I'm packing everything in here.
Or it just looks like you are definitely like someone drew you. Like someone drew your body, you know. In my early videos are so rough. I look back and I'm like, I'm subscribed. I'm surprised anyone subscribed to my channel. My early videos were so rough. I laugh at myself.
Oh, we have to.
It's good to go back and realize how far you've come, though, you know?
Absolutely. Well, and most of my first videos that I posted are me hula hooping and just like rolling on the floor, being funny. I need to make some more of those because I miss. Because part of it, I like to make clothes that I can hoop in, so they've got to like do double duty, which is why I know this is gonna like be a pain in many people's hearts. I'm not a huge pocket person because I don't need more bulk around my hips and waist. I know I
So,
just excommunicated myself from the club,
no,
but
no, I agree with you. But like, for someone who's been sewing basically his entire life, I just learned how to do pockets like a week ago. So I don't do pockets a lot of the time.
oh, they're too baggy for you. So you're tall and like a beanpole, and I'm like an hourglass. Kilroy does not like pants that are too tight. You can tell what religion somebody is.
I
So the
have
more religious, the tighter the pants.
my hips are very oddly shaped, so I can't wear what around here we call girl pants because I always jokingly say it sends the wrong message. I don't like the feel. Like even
Yeah,
these pants, like I have my cowboy pants on. They're semi tight, but they're like boot cut,
yeah,
so they're not hugging my entire. I don't know. It's the strangest thing. Like I can't wear spandex.
yeah.
It's maybe I'm just I don't know. It's maybe I'm more manly than I think I am. I don't know.
Well,
It just feels uncomfortable to me. It's the strangest feeling.
yeah, it is. I don't know. I grew up when I remember when the first leggings version 2.1.1,
Yep.
and I just loved it with like a huge baggy t-shirt and leggings was my childhood staple wardrobe for a long period of time. And then like when I was at the circus studio, more like certain things, like when I was training Ariel a little bit, you just need skin tight clothes like that because it was an occupation. Like you'd get caught in the silks or something, would like it was dangerous to not have something form fitting. Oh, thank you, Liz.
That's definitely a generational thing because I see like especially when I go into this city, I see young men wearing the tightest pants and sagging them. What is wrong with you? What is wrong?
Yeah, it's bad. I don't know. There's a belt loops, and belts are there for a reason. And
You
I
know,
don't know.
and this is me being old man again. I come from a very rigid background. For as much as I love my dad, like I was not allowed to dress like that, and so
Yeah,
eventually I just accepted the fact and did not dress like that. You know, so
yeah.
maybe it's my judgmental, repressed nature. You know.
No, but it just looks weird and unkempt. Like there's some level of personal pride in how you dress and what you wear, and that just looks sloppy, like you don't care. And maybe in their minds they do have, I mean, I guess they have to have pride in what they're wearing or they wouldn't do it, but I just don't get it.
Don't show your nalgas. I don't want to see your business. You know, I don't
No.
like I don't want to see. But again, it's a generational thing. Like I'm from the valley. If I grew up 25 minutes over pick a hill, I would have a different accent and a different opinion, you know.
Right.
But like, it just trips me out the way people dress nowadays, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I dress like a bag of Skittles. I'm no one to judge, you know. I literally dress like a hobbit.
One of these days I'm just not gonna give a shit anymore and dress like the dude from the Big Lebowski, baggy and lazy. Do whatever you want. I'm trying to meld my professional I can wear whatever I want at my office because I'm self-employed, but I don't know.
Same.
I'm just trying to find what I like again, and yeah.
It wasn't until I got on stream. I used to live in work shirts. I love wearing work shirts that don't have my name on them. I have one and I turned it. It has a Jesus name tag. I turned it upside down. I had to stop wearing it because people would try to fight me.
I'm not Jesus, I promise. I'm not the
No,
real
but they thought
Jesus.
it was like people thought it was demonic that I turned the word Jesus upside down. And this Mexican gangster, like this dude legitimately tried to fight me because I had a Jesus tag. I'm gonna find that shirt. It's in my
Oh,
closet. Like he legit people are so lame.
I don't want to see sausage unless I'm in the meat section at the grocery store. And Skits, there's no shame in still pressing your jeans. You take pride in how you want to appear. There's nothing wrong with that. The question is, do you have the front crease in the front of your pants or do you keep it all on the sides?
Front crease is gangster. That's dedication. That is some dedication. I'll tell you, I used to iron a lot. I hate ironing. The older I get, I'm like, I hate it.
The only reason I have an iron is because I sew, and even then I try to do it as little as possible. If I'm like hand sewing something, or Brunhilde's got such pressing power that I don't need to press stuff because she does it for me.
Same. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but irons are expensive. I paid like $80 for my Hamilton Beach.
Yep.
Irons are unreal expensive.
Yeah.
It's a good reason to not
iron. Absolutely. I just dream of feeling like an accomplished enough seamstress to deserve treating myself to one of the fancy gravity feed irons.
I want one of those so bad. Do you know there's some YouTubers I'm watching, I'm like watching their iron more than I'm watching them. I'm like, that is some fancy iron work there.
Yes. Yeah. And I've learned that if your ceiling is not high enough for your water tank, that an IV pole will work.
Oh, wow.
Front crease all the way.
That's gangster.
Good job, chap. All right, you passed all of my tests for if you're gonna press. This is the only way to do it.
My brother was a prison guard for over 45 years, and he's in his 60s, and he still presses his jeans in the front. I mean, his jeans, his shorts. If there is not a crease in his clothes, there was a fire or earthquake somewhere.
Oh man,
I just
love
don't.
it.
I'm from the grunge, like right or from that grunge era. Like that was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I would just wear my dad's old khakis and a flannel and go to school. You know, like I miss that era.
Well, my parents didn't iron. Like it just wasn't something that we did. So I never grew up doing. It wasn't standard practice and protocols in my household.
I grew up with reverse gender roles in a lot of ways because my mom refused to. My mom hated cooking and she refused to iron.
Yeah.
And so my dad would do both. And so I never thought that it was like, like only for a woman or only for a man, you know?
Yep.
It's a chore. Really,
right.
Ironing is a effing chore.
Yes, it is.
Oh gosh. Even with that being said, like I've been pulling out a lot of my old stuff and like I have to iron some of it, you know?
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Do you I call it the lazy person iron. Do you use your dryer?
I mean, I do use my dryer, but I don't. If I'm if I have something, I will hang it up in the steamy shower when I'm in the shower and do it that way.
I didn't think about that. I have clothes racks everywhere because I'm a hoarder, so I didn't think about that. There's an iron feature on my dryer.
Yes, you were indoctrinated if you started ironing and starching in the army. That will do it. Your dress clothes have to be a certain way, and if they're not, then you get in trouble. And I just heard this new term, maybe you heard it, of making tape. Does that mean that you're skinny enough to fit into the clothes that you were issued, your dress clothes?
Oh, that's awful. People, please don't have those unreal Okay, I'm a skinny guy, okay? I can still fit in my 8th grade PE gym shirt, but that's because my father was an African. Like, I'm just a naturally skinny person. I think it's so cruel. Like, it goes back to what we were talking about unreal body types. I have a good friend who is actually she's a real life opera singer. She's one of the reasons I had season tickets for the Disney concert hall.
Mm-hmm.
She's 6'3".
Oh
She's
my gosh.
naturally a
Yeah.
larger human being.
Yep.
I dated a woman who was 6'4". I'll never forget my mom's reaction. My mom was like, "That's a tall woman."
Trying to whisper it and sound
Totally, when
like
everybody
not like nobody hears you, and you're like, you should have just said it out loud because everybody heard you, Mom.
and my mom also makes the assumption that no one speaks Spanish, where here everyone does.
So she's trying to be surreptitious and talk to you in Spanish.
When people know, like if someone's talking a different language in front of you, they're rude. They're saying something rude.
Right. All right, Skits is learning us again. Making tape is meeting the military height weight requirement via the tape test method.
Wow.
So not the tapeworm method.
Sometimes I feel like I have a tapeworm.
My human too. Killer used to be a hard ass like that, but I'm trying to chill out for my sanity and try not to give myself a heart attack later on. Good work. So I'm letting more shit go as time goes by. Yeah. And I can still kind of fit into my old Boy Scout shirt. I'm smaller now than I was back then. Not that I have any of those clothes, but I'm sure they would fit. I would just need to take them in. But yeah.
In 8th grade, I shot up to being 5'8", and I was a giant. I was a giant among tiny people. I'm 5'9" now, and that was 28 years ago. 27 years ago.
Right. Yeah,
Something.
Yep, I sprouted up super early and stayed that way, and now I just need to make sure that like I keep no matter what size body weight scale I am, I always am hourglass figured, but I try to go at least by the or your waist measurement should be 1/2 of your height, so I don't have a lot of room to play with that.
Where is my measuring tape? It's cheating though. It's cheating with me because I'm spare parts. Like I have the wingspan of someone who's 6'2", and I know that because of there's a lake out here where they have the wingspans of certain birds, and
So you can go up and measure.
But I'm 5'9", so it's strange. It's strange. Oh, that's funny. I can kind of fit.
I know. I think I.
Oh, that's. I wonder what else. Do you know I can tell how much weight I've gained or lost depending on like older clothes.
Mm-hmm. Right, what fits and what doesn't fit, or how stuff fits.
Especially at the neck. You reach a certain age where you're like, oh, cow, I've lost weight. I can see it in my neck, or like my weight goes up and down because of my lung issues. So like people really think I'm sick. It's my lung issues, you know?
Yeah, since I started to last year making more clothes out of wovens and I didn't leave myself a huge seam allowance, I'm like, well, you got to kind of stay in the same ballpark because your clothes either fit or you don't, or they don't fit. And I don't want to remake the same thing over again.
I do that. I actually did that with my overalls. I made them like just an inch. I basically made them to what I think my waist size is. And they fit, but I forgot that I have hips. And I have like my butt sticks out. And so sometimes I don't take that into when you're making your own clothes, when you do measurement, I've learned over the years to have to take certain body parts into consideration.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. I've learned, yes, especially because I have quite a substantial, let's see here, at least a 6 to 8 inch difference between my waist and my hips, or my waist and my rib cage measurements. And then I have it's like ribs, waist, 1 inch out hips.
Hey, will you put everything away on the in the fridge? Because if you didn't eat the saffron rice, I'm gonna
All right.
attack it.
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm working on, so I went back because I've got this is the entire length of the bottom of the skirt. So, and if I'm a good projector, I might block it when I'm done before I attach it to the skirt. We'll see. Oh,
I know I'm constantly trying to like look for new ideas.
how so?
I definitely. What do you mean?
Oh, well, here. Well, you said you were looking for new ideas, and I was asking you in regards to what?
Oh, sorry. Sewing.
Oh, okay.
Sewing. I'm always looking for something to make because I'm a fabric hoarder.
Right. Yep, you got
So
to do stuff.
I'm always like, oh, what should I make? What should I make? Oh, I can show you what I lined the my poncho with.
All right. And while we do that, Liz said, yeah, allergies and lung issues can definitely affect weight too. Hard to lose weight when you're over 40, but I'm finally doing it now. Oh, hi, Hand Puppet. I missed that. Something is locked up on my end.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was here for a second.
I've learned that I really have to follow the calories in, calories out method, and people don't like it, but it works for me. If my weight goes up, I'm either sometimes it's too much salt and I'm like retaining water, but if my scale weight goes up and I check it at least a few times a week, I'm either putting too much stuff in my mouth or not moving enough or both. And I can fix those things.
That's like my lung issues are actually like that as well.
Skit certain body parts. Was that a humble brag? He's got the BBW going on there, or the BJ. No, Brazilian Butler BBL.
My predecessor used to always tell me, boy, you better never go to prison with those hips. I have the don't go to jail scoop is what I call it. Oh, so this blanket here is older than I am, and I lined my poncho with it, but like I better never be near an open flame. I don't know if you can see it. It's like foam. This is a 1970s blanket. I don't know if it's polyester wrapped in foam, but like if this was to go near an open flame, it would go up like a Christmas tree. But it's really soft, and it's still soft after all these years.
Right.
Strangest thing.
And the more times it was washed, it probably just got softer over time.
And that's why my fabric haul is so embarrassing, because I have my grandma's linen closet, all this weird stuff my dad would buy, all my field projects,
yeah,
all the weird tablecloths I buy from thrift stores. I'm like, I'm gonna make a hat out of that. So Gilroy,
like
if you sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say those vinyl front flannel tablecloths. Those are hard to come by these days, it seems like.
They really don't make those anymore because they're not, you can't wash them.
Right.
Know? I know exactly what you're talking. There's this one thrift store I used to go to that was like my honey hole for sewing stuff. I found a bunch of Buttrick old stuff, and I still to this day regret not buying the patterns. Isaiah even told me, he's like, you should buy this.
Oh wow.
Because he sees value in things, and he sees me reselling things. Right. And so he's like, oh, we could resell this.
Oh, Liz, you need a blanket poncho right about now. I'm sorry, honey.
If you lived any closer, I would wrap you like a Cosby kid. But like I do that. See, but I'm like a Southwest coaster. When it's cold, I'm like walking stiff because I have so many layers on,
Like the kid from A Christmas Story.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't mess around. You would laugh at me. Like, I've been walking around with hockey socks on under my pants because I'm so cold,
There's nothing, it's okay.
And hockey socks go above the knee.
They do. I also found that all these modern synthetic fabrics are not as awesome as they were claimed to be. Like I'd much rather have real wool. I need to get some linen. I love wearing silk, these like the natural fibers.
It's funny how they like I have a bunch of wool socks. They last forever.
They do. You have 6 coats on. Oh, Liz, you are the kid from A Christmas Story.
I'm telling you, that exact sentence is the reason why I moved back to Southern California. Like, I couldn't take it. And the like when I was younger, I've said this a million times. I had this dream of living in Alaska, and then I went there, and I was like, I will die here. I will not make it through the winter.
You probably would. It's just we live places now where it doesn't get that cold, so it feels odd to have like a giant puffer coat in your closet for like the once every 3 years where it's cold enough that you actually need it.
And I pulled the picture out to prove to her. I found a picture from like 1985, 1986, and because my mother wears the same she's had the same raincoat since I don't know, 83, 84.
So the coat's older than you are.
And it's in excellent condition because she wears it like once every 2 years, you know. But she wore it the other day, and I'm like, I can't believe you still have that thing. Like, she got in my car, and I'm like, this thing is older than I am, which it's not, but we're close.
Oh, Kilroy, wear those goofy old man tube socks that come up to the knee. But that's because it helps my ankle muscles not hurt so much. Yeah, it's something about the compression and some of those things is therapeutic. I think that's also why I really love corsets, because I like that midsection compression.
I'm like that when I sleep. Like, I'm weird. That's why I wear hockey socks, and I'll wear but again, because I'm allergic to cold, I'll wear, excuse me, hockey socks, basketball shorts, and then I put my flannel pants over that, and they're like real wool, real pajama pants. They're not the fake like Target ones, you know?
Right.
I don't mess around.
No, and it's so much nicer to wear wool to sleep in. I've gotten into wearing one of my wool sweaters. Sometimes that's my sleeping sweater. That's all wool. It just keeps me warm. Well, at least we're on the same page that socks to sleep is not the worst thing ever.
I was just about to ask you. I didn't know it was a thing until I got on like on Spanish Twitter and the internet. I had no idea people didn't wear socks when they slept.
Yeah, that's a contentious topic.
I didn't even know it was real. And like, because I speak Spanish, like in the Mexican world, like you're considered not Mexican if you don't wear socks when you sleep. It's a thing. I
did not know that.
Neither did I. Like, I've always worn socks. It's just weird to me. I would feel naked if I slept without socks on. I would feel it would.
Oh, okay. Oh, Liz does. Skits doesn't. All right, this is where the great divide is making itself apparent.
See, but this is better than when people argue if the world is flat. I will walk away from you if you're a flat earther.
Right. I know this is something I can do. This is fine. I like this as a healthy, like something to joke about.
I might talk about this tomorrow night. I might bring this up tomorrow.
All right, we can do
I don't know.
too.
I didn't know I didn't even know like pineapple and pizza. That's always been a fight pre-internet.
Yes. That's been since the 1980s.
And again, because I grew up around Hispanic neighborhoods, like we don't call it Hawaiian pizza. They just call it pizza. Like, because every culture likes pineapple, you know?
Right. Oh, right here, Kilroy. You get too hot and wake up with all the blankets on the floor if I sleep with socks on. That's fair.
I strangely have an elevated body temperature. I don't know what it is. Like, and I think I have to maintain that. I'm a space heater, so I'm a bad example. Like, even like it's cold, but I'm sitting here in a sweatshirt because I'm a hot body, you know? So I don't know. I'm weird like that. And I sleep with blankets too. even when it's hot outside, I still have to sleep with a blanket, like, or a sheet when it's like 110.
I know, just the comfort of having something on, or if it's too hot, then you sweat and you need something to wick the water away, or you just like wake up
Exactly.
freezing. Oh, Liz, you wear socks when you sleep, but we can't. You wear socks when you sleep. We can't be friends. Just kidding. Hey.
I didn't know that was a thing. I had no idea because I mind my own business.
Right? It's like, who cares how people sleep? Do you sleep? Yes or no? Okay, that's all I need to know, really.
That was like, well, I won't get. No, that's a contentious subject. Never mind. That's a little too controversial. But like, I'm a sock guy. I didn't know, but people, like, I just found the strangest arguments online, and I had no idea that people cared that much.
I know. Sometimes I'll even sleep with the wool hat on.
I do all the time. I have been lately. I do, like.
I know, because it's cold.
Don't make me get my turquoise. I sleep with the girliest one that I can find too. I've had it since I was a little kid. It's turquoise with flowers on it.
Oh, that's adorable. Oh, Liz, you sleep like a cat. You hide under my blankets like a lump.
I do sleep like a cold weather person, even though I live in the desert.
Well, you have the air conditioner turned up too high. Or turned down too low. I don't know.
So I in a very, very funny thing, a long time ago, at my job, they donate all these weird kind of things, and somebody was like, hey, can I donate an air conditioner to a 2-story house? My father and I were literally jumping over each other to be like, yes, you can. Do you need us to pick it up? Yes. In my house, I have a 1-story house, and I have an air conditioner for a 2-story house. So I don't even have to turn it on that much because I feel bad during the summer. It's like 110 outside, and I'm walking around with a sweatshirt in my house.
Yeah, that's too cold for me. You're in good company, Liz.
But I'm weird because I don't rock. The only reason I turn the heater on is because my son lives here.
Right. Oh, did Skid say that I missed something? Let's see here. Oh, you don't wear socks because it messes with your leg hair. Well, you could shave it like the cyclists and the swimmers.
My socks have rubbed off the leg hair. Like, I have no leg hair up to my sock line.
Oh, Kilroy, you only sleep with a hat on when you're passed out drunk.
I miss those days. I'll be right back. I miss those days.
No worries. Oh, ear problems though. Yeah, it's okay. We all do what makes it how we sleep to make us comfortable. I don't think it, as long as you're sleeping, that's the main point around here. And I have my bed's under the window, so I just get cold because the windows in this house are scheiße. But oh man, I don't want it to be Monday, but we'll probably be here for just a little bit longer before we get ready to do the Sunday night pre-worky things. But thanks for everybody for coming out and hanging out. Thank you. You bring me joy. And we'll see what we have to work on for tomorrow. We'll get there. I wrote a list of things to talk about and I didn't touch upon anything, but that's all right. We've just been chit-chatting and hanging out, which is always fun.
Oh, I was not joking. I sleep in this thing. And it's green with flowers. Oh, it has hearts on it too.
Oh, adorable.
I've had this as long as I can remember. I've had this, and it, every time I put it on, I'm like, this was so much larger when I was a little kid.
Right. Your head got bigger and the fabric didn't.
But this thing is like at least 40-something years old. Right. And it's amazing. It's well made because it's still
because it still lasts. The sewing is going, Liz. We're working on way too many things, and I was going to work on my sequins for my bikini bottoms, but I can't find them. So when I'm done here this evening, I'm going to have to pick up my space and so I can sew on sequins tomorrow.
I've been doing that for weeks and weeks. I've just been cleaning and cleaning. The cool thing is, though, I've discovered everything I've ever lost
Right.
in this house. Everything. And the weird thing about when you're looking for, it's an old cliche, but it's true. When you're looking for something, you find everything except for that one thing you were looking for.
Right. That's when you do the Tony, or at least for important things.
I have like I've learned over the years. I put my keys and my wallet in a certain spot. My shoes. I constantly am losing my isotoners though. I'm looking for those things right now. I don't know why. There's something wrong with me. They're the most, one thing about accepting being an old man is buying isotoner slippers. Those things changed my life because I was never a house shoe kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started wearing house shoes, and it's like a big giant sock on top of your socks.
Yep.
So I've learned to appreciate my old man isotoners.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So I had tragedy here in the house of sewing.
Something
really. I dropped my swap meet sunglasses that I've been using in my videos for 3 years. And they're finally dead. So now I have to go to my 99-cent store sunglasses. But I waffle back and forth because I have an odd face. It's like my nose and my chin are large. So I have to get a larger pair of sunglasses,
Mm-hmm.
offset my schnoz.
Just to make it look balanced.
Well, I look like a bumblebee when I wear like women's glasses are perfect because they have those giant octagons,
Oh, yep.
But like it just makes me look like a bumblebee. Gosh, these cheapies are dark.
Oh no, not the glasses.
Yeah,
the question is it a ski hat, a beanie, or a toboggan? Oh.
Okay. So what is the difference between the ski hat? I guess there's the ski mask. I actually have a legitimate old school knitted what aren't they called, balaclava? No,
it is called a balaclava.
I have a real one that Isaiah used to wear when he was a kid and scared people around the neighborhood.
Oh, we've got Kilroy's got a 30-year-old wool watch cap made by Caterpillar Diesel. Oh my goodness. Oh, watch cap. We've got a new.
Those things last forever. You see something that like those old engineered things were made to last. Like they were like, okay, I want my product to actually stand the test of time.
Right. You just got to make sure the moths didn't eat it and you were good to go.
I say this all the time. I'm really good on the moths, like in the closet in here, but every once in a while, Mothra itself will come out and be like, I was born here. Like, there was a moth the size of my hand. I'm like, ooh, that came out of a jacket or something. I know that thing was born here. Because that's why I rotate my clothes. That's why I'm constantly, because I can't stand the smell of mothballs.
Right.
I tried, but like, you end up smelling like mothballs.
Yep. I've been putting, well, you can use cedar or cedar essential oil, or I'll put like a little lavender drop of something in with my my wool fibers and my wool yarns.
That's a good idea. We have new neighbors, and like they obviously have an army of children. So I'm gonna have to watch my motorcycle and car speed around here. Not like I already don't,
No, but now you've got extra reasons.
All the neighborhood kids aged out. Like my son was one of the youngest, and he's a teenager, so it's strange to see kids playing again. It's good,
right? But it's different. Oh, killer! I look at my 1961 typewriter, and then I look at my phone, and I'm like, why can't you be built as good as this thing? Exactly.
Oh,
so
my!
True.
Don't even give my phone. I have an iPhone, okay? One of the newer iPhones. That thing doesn't work. It picks and chooses. And like I never had a problem with YouTube. And now I'm starting to have problems with YouTube on my phone. And I don't know, like, I don't know what it is. I honestly I
I know what.
consider sorry, go ahead, please.
Uh, for some reason on my phone, it's synced up to like the Google Workspace, and I go to watch certain videos, and it says I don't have permission if I'm not on my Wi-Fi. If I'm just on my data, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I set the permissions, and why are you trying to tell me I can't watch this
Yeah.
station?
I would be so see. I'm an old school human. If a machine tells me I can't do something, I'm gonna find another machine to tell me. Like, no way. That's why I don't like modern cars because I can't work on my car. I can't work on my
Right.
flex. Like I don't know, the only reason I was telling you earlier about the blinker, the only reason I even know about the problem is because it's happened to me before. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Yeah, there is something to be said about like even like this scanner. This I watched a lot of NASCAR as a kid. Okay, so this is
Mm-hmm.
a real NASCAR scanner. If you were to take this, you could listen to all the pit crews. The new scanners, first, they all have USB cords. They don't have batteries.
Ugh.
And, and they're so complicated that they're literally I'm looking at they're just collect dust because I have old Gret and Gertie here. I just put batteries in the thing and it works, you know.
Right.
I don't understand. Do you think as a species we've overcomplicated what it is to be human?
That's a good question.
Because we have so many barriers nowadays just to have a conversation with somebody that's saying I'm a chic typewriter enthusiast from Louisiana who only smokes cigarettes on Tuesday, you know, like
Right.
we're so
I don't,
specific now.
I think we've been working that way. I mean, we're just trying to be the Jetsons of old. And now we're kind of there, and we're like, but was it really worth it?
There was this thing on South Park had a reboot on Paramount Plus, and it got me because like they had two futures, and in the first episode, they kept on saying like it was the future and it was during the COVID times, but everybody kept on saying, yeah, the future sucks. Yeah, we thought we were going to be like, they'd say, yeah, we have this and this and this, but the future sucks. So they have all these technological advances. Alexa is real, like a real person, you know,
Yeah.
like Kyle has a relationship with the A word and everything. Like it's hilarious, but they keep on saying the future sucks, you know.
Yeah. I don't think we know. And I agree, Killer Ray. I hate more and more shit because you can't work on it. Yeah.
That's one of my
Okay.
main beefs with things. Like yesterday, I was having major sewing machine problems. Man, I popped the case off and figured it out in 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It took me longer to take the covers off the screws than to figure out what the problem was, you know.
I know. That's why I feel really torn. If anything happens to my embroidery machine because it's so computerized, I don't know if I would replace it with a new sewing machine with a computer in it.
I'm right there right now. My brother PE 535 is literally just a paperweight in the middle bedroom. I don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I it stopped catching the bobbin thread underneath.
Mm.
And and it's 100% a computerized thing. You just hit buttons on it, you know.
Right.
I might give it I might try tomorrow. Let me write that down. I might do that during the live stream. One last ride for the brother PE, my stocking
Right.
machine.
Let's do it. Killer, I think we've gotten into such a suicide drive to make everything as efficient as possible that we can't chill out and smell the roses. Fuck your computer. Yeah, I like nothing beats this old non-electric beautiful workhorse.
You got me going on that though. Like I'm gonna get some of my my rotary machine's going, because what would I do if the power really did go out, you know?
Exactly. And it's so quiet. Like, I love when I'm sewing and live streaming because there's no electric sound. That, and I don't think I could have that much electrics going at one time without setting my house on fire. But I just like this quietness.
I'm the son of an electrical engineer. That's the only reason I haven't set this house on fire. That's the only reason. Because I've learned to run conduit and wire. I put a second panel in this room, and I'm so glad I did. More because I used to use my welding machine a lot more in the past. But now, fun fact in the state of California, you're going to laugh at me. In the burbs, you cannot work on your car in front of your house anymore. And you're basically, if I was to use a welding, I have certs. See, someone called the city on me. They're like, you're not allowed to use a welding thing unless you have certs. I said, oh, give me a second. I'll go get my paperwork right now.
I got those papers.
I have a license. You can kiss my grids, you know, but basically you're not allowed to do heavy work if you live in the suburbs in front of your house anymore.
That's so lame.
Even and I do it, and my neighbor, like, no one rats at me anymore because they know I'm a real life Karen. But like recently I had to replace the battery on my truck. You know, no one said a word to me, but it's illegal. You know, they basically want you to take it to a mechanic, but like, it's lame. It's lame.
Yeah, I'm over too much of this like over legalization nanny state stuff. Like, if you know how to do something, you should be able to do it. But I do understand the caveat that, like, when it's fire season, the welders and the blacksmiths can't work.
Do you think
but that's different.
Do you think it's asinine to build a McMansion?
Yeah, who needs that? And I mean, unless you've got your family, your kids, if you have 40 people living in your house, then maybe you need a 9,000 square foot dwelling. But if it's just 2 or 3 of you, what do you need to waste all those resources heating and cooling and the water? Why? Other than deflects.
Recently, I watched this thing about a guy in Australia who built a McMansion. His neighbors were like, I hate you. Get that eyesore. So I've been looking, and there's quite a few McMansions out here, and I never noticed. Like, especially in the older neighborhoods, people build these. Like, I live in a 1-story neighborhood. Like, all the houses are 1 story. I just recently noticed someone built a 2-story house. It sticks out now.
Right, and it screws around with the property value of the other things. Like, why tear down a perfectly serviceable, well-built house to put up a piece of crap? Like, my apartment house, I would tear it down because it was built like a piece of crap, even though it's old and should have been held to higher standards.
The new thing now is granny pods.
Oh, right. The old-fashioned mother-in-law units in the backyard. Yep.
I still haven't figured out who's living in the backyard behind me. Whoever it is, they chain smoke.
Oh, Kilroy, I look at people who are so afraid of doing or fixing shit and freaking out about how they aren't licensed professionals. And I'm like, easy, you're just being a drama queen. Yeah. I wonder if they're just feel bad about themselves on some level, that they aren't more that they need to spend money to have somebody else do something. But like, I don't know how to change the oil or change the battery. I learned how to jump my car, but I don't know a lot of stuff.
Also, in my ex-wife, she inherited her grandmother's house, and I've recently been driving around that neighborhood, which I haven't in like 10-15 years, and there's a ton of McMansions in that neighborhood, and it's an eyesore because, like, old school LA suburbia was a sea of 1-story houses
and beautiful architecture and construction. And now it's all cookie cutter crap that, as Kilroy says, it's pretty much falling apart.
Yeah, it was so strange to me. Like, I guess because I live in my own little world, people just don't. I don't know. I'm one of those people, like, I have all kinds of crazy ideas, but I have this space out in the middle of the country where I can get in my car, go out to my shop and make explosions and like, oh, what happens if you mix sulfur with this? Let's find out. And I have just enough distance where I won't burn the city down because I'm
Right.
outside of the city, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a fine line, but the one thing in like I have a contractor's license, and the one thing that's destroyed the contractor business is people who are unlicensed and do work in the state of California
Mm-hmm.
or fly by night. Like, and there's this weird law because a lot of people come from Oregon and they claim to be contractors, so you have to basically have a California license, blah blah blah, and the certs, and then certs of the certs, and then have those certs notarized.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had so many people ripped off here. It's bad. But I'm sure it's like that in Florida, New York, anywhere where there's a ton of money, you know.
Right. I
You
think
get
it's true anywhere, or people who are too brazen, they think they know what they're doing, but they really don't.
and I didn't realize when I got my contractor's license, there's a lot of people who have never swung a hammer and they get a contractor's license because they can get a ton of people to work underneath them.
Yes.
I just want to be able to put a wrought iron fence up and get paid my
Right.
due, you know, pay me my wage, you know.
Yep.
So it's crazy. The whole game has changed though. And I got another notification about gas powered motors. They're like, remember, in a year and a half, you're effed. And I was showing to Isaiah today, like, we have a water truck, okay, which like we use it to water the crops. We use it to I take it to the top of the hill and I drench the hill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we do clear cuts for fire, all kinds of fun stuff. The motor is gas powered. What am I going to do?
Yeah, Gavin or Newsom doesn't know what he's taught. Like, he needs to stop kowtowing to these rich elites who can afford to replace all these things because they don't know what they're doing or don't know how to do anything,
Oh, yeah.
and actually listen to people who do the jobs. You're not going to have an electric powered ambulance or fire truck, or what about all the big rigs? Like, it
We're screwed. We're screwed. And I know it's not going to be like the problem is we get fined. So like they're just going to fine you until you can't until you're broke
you
or what?
submit to the rule. Oh, that's even more disgusting.
Like what are they going to do? I'm honestly the like the grown man in me is like, well, they can't stop us all.
No, but it's so ridiculous that you have to band together to. How do you undo their bullshit?
It's always people who have never been in the field making decisions for people who are. It's like that in in any business, someone will make a decree and you're like, man, you have never worked here. You have never worked a day. How did you make it to the office? You have never been in the warehouse. Like, what is wrong with you?
Right, the whole educated managerial class. That's the same. That's like they know and they feel like they know enough because they've been book schooled, but they don't actually know how to be the practicalities of things.
Oh, it drives me absolutely insane. Bureaucrats who really honestly do not understand that, like, even today, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so effed. It's like I'm gonna open a museum. Hey kids, this used to be powered by this thing called gas.
Yes, well, you should, because they're not going to remember. They don't even know that this is a telephone. This is not a telephone.
Let me see if I can find it. I have a real phone tap. There it is. It's there we go. This I can tap into any landline anywhere. It's like but yeah, this is a phone, kids. This is what phones look like.
Yo.
I use this for the telephone system at my job because it's like a giant switchboard. And it's cool. It's cool to be able to put this on any wire and hear any conversation.
Right.
So I could walk up to like I could walk up to a box in my neighborhood, and if anyone has a landline, I could listen to any conversation they're having.
You got to be careful though, because California is. Oh, that's only for recording though, not listening. That it's a 2-party consent state.
Our state is so funny. We have all these laws that protect people, but then they legalize slavery in our prisons. Last year, quietly, and no one. There was a legislator crying on the floor. Like, do you not realize what you've done? And like, everyone's just sitting there, like clapping.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's because they need the fire jumpers. That was like one of the main reasons.
Yeah.
And that is legalized slavery.
Well, on that exciting note, I know people have to get ready for work and do like Sunday night things. So I will thank you everybody for coming and hanging out. We appreciate you. Don't wait until tomorrow, or before I do all the sign-offs. Do you have anything to shill?
I will eventually be coming out with a video, and I will be live tomorrow night. Everybody's invited. We know the spiel.
Yay.
Be there, be square.
Don't wait until tomorrow when you can be fabulous today, and make sure you've laughed at yourself before you laugh at anyone else. All right, bye.
See you later. Rock out with your clock out.